All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 150 with PurpleThorax, or as I will be calling him, Zach. Zach, how are we doing this fine evening?
Living the dream.
So let's, I guess, get a little bit of an introduction of who you are.
For sure.
I'm trying to even think of when we met because,
Oh gosh.
it's been years at this point. I know I've popped into your
I don't even
stream
know.
years back, but yeah, well, I guess we'll just hear it from you.
Well, yep. My in-game name is PurpleThorax, but I also go by Thorax, not to be confused with the Dr. Seuss character, the Lorax. My name is also Zach in real life, so you can call me that too. I've been playing the game since early 2006, so I've been around a while. I started playing old school in probably like 2015 though. So like a couple years after it was released. And I'm an Endgame Ironman. I'm maxed. I have a Zuck helm, pretty much every item in the game. Just working on finishing up the last few of those, working on collection logging, things like that. But yeah, I've dedicated a lot of hours to this game, and it's pretty much my hobby, my passion.
I love that. And it seems like you as well have a pretty successful IRL. Looks like you are a chiropractor. Is that correct?
As of late, yes, that's been what I've been working on for quite a while.
That's really cool.
Um,
Congrats
yeah,
on that.
thank you. Yeah, I graduated in August of last year. It's still of last year, right? 2022. Yeah, it's not next year yet.
Yeah, not quite. Um, did RuneScape ever feel like a hindrance in that department of trying to go for something
That's
big?
funny because I feel like it's kind of the opposite thing.
Hmm.
I feel like RuneScape has always been the thing that keeps me in the chair while I'm like studying or reading or, doing anything school related. Of course, like the addiction to it doesn't help in some cases, but for the most part, I think it helped more than anything in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just ass and chair studying, I mean, you could always do. There's always something to be done on RuneScape. So
Yeah. And I mean, I've maxed two accounts and none of that was done even close to efficiently. It was all just AFKing while I was like studying and doing stuff like that. So,
that,
yeah.
that's cool. So I am very proud of your normal Ironman. Obviously, you've put in a shit ton of time into that, and you're definitely
Mhm.
up there with, you know, the end game of end game players. There's like a, there definitely is a growing community of like super end game irons, which is really cool. Not all of them create content at all, but
Mhm.
it's just it. I love my Ironmen that really take it really far because I'm one of
Yeah.
them as well. So it's always cool like having another guy. It kind of like keeps you motivated in a sense as well, like knowing like other people haven't fully burnt out. It kind of sucks being at the very top and being lonely about it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it also sucks to watch people you saw start an Ironman fresh and they're like almost at your level now. And you've just been watching them catch up to you. Like, stop, slow down, wait.
I actually
I
like
can't.
I actually like it in a sense, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like a friendly reminder, like because I mean I used to grind so much, and I was literally just ass and chair for like probably 10-hour days on average. I mean, I
Oh,
think my
dude.
average play time over like 6.5 years is like it's probably under 8 hours because of this year. It's probably around like 7.5 at this point. But like there were some years I went really hard and I felt like I was that guy that caught up to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be probably 16-hour days at some point. And then when COVID started, I was like in online classes. So I was just like sitting there playing RuneScape, of course. Like, I wasn't just going to be sitting there listening to the teacher talk. No way. Um,
So what are you missing on your Iron Man? Because you did say like you pretty much have
okay.
max stuff.
So Ancestral Top's the big one.
Yeah, you're known for that. Who, who
Bro.
who else was known for that? There was another guy that could not get the answer.
Feargasm. Feargasm.
Yes,
He's the other one.
dude,
Yeah.
where's he been?
I don't know. I stole his
Damn.
emote though, his Feels Top Man emote. He did
You
get the
stole it. I
yeah.
love it.
I didn't steal it
Yeah.
actually. I asked him if I
No,
could
but
use it and I
that
just
yeah,
like
no,
took it.
I figured that is not malicious. I just think that's awesome.
But yeah. We used to talk quite a bit actually. But yeah, ancestral top. But here's the kicker: 6 ancestral bottoms, 5 ancestral hats, 4 dragon claws, one
Is
bulwark. But
is is
it's
the
a lot of
DH
rolls.
is the DHCB on that? I can't remember. Is
No, so DHCP and buckler are on their own table.
Okay, that's a completely separate to everything else.
Yeah, yeah,
It
and
it it
then
doesn't include bulwark, or is bulwark with the?
bulwarks on ancestral table.
Okay, how many bulwarks
Yeah,
do you have?
one,
Okay.
but 16 rolls on the table and no top.
God damn it! How many like mega rares?
Only 3 actually.
All
So
three?
I have a Tebow and 2 Mauls, no
Okay.
Kodai.
Oh
But
Jesus, dude.
I have an Eldritch, so I mean I'm not really
Yeah,
yearning
that's
for that at all.
I could just.
Especially with the new rune pouch, like I don't need to, carry extra inventory space for waters anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
Kodai's not really as good as it used to be.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. I'm just trying to think of like the Ari slash Arc where he's just trying to go for his Kodai. I can't even
Yeah.
imagine that just how much he'd be yelling and screaming if he was missing an ancestral top as well, just and a Kodai.
And on the other end of that, you got Lake with like what, 11 of them or some ridiculous.
It's just crazy how orange. And then you got like BF Rocket, who haven't seen in a while. I mean, I know he's like stopped streaming. He's not.
He's around still.
Yeah. He's on Twitter and stuff. In
Yeah.
fact, he even believe he tweeted something saying that he'll probably go live with like a new hardcore eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw that.
But he was the Tebow guy. He just could not. I mean, literally, he'd get another Tebow. He'd get like his 8th Tebow or something. You just see the reaction of him just sitting there, like blank face, like frowning, just like, come on, man. Like, I like it. At a point, people. This is part of the problem with content creation is like you become known for something, and it kind of sucks in a way to be known as somebody that is always spoon-fed things. So even though you don't even want another Tebow because you're an Ironman, everyone's going to think, oh, you're always lucky. So now you can never get any pity for any of your actually like horrible grinds.
Yeah. And then you just sit there, you just got a 1 bill plus item, and you feel absolutely nothing inside. Iron Man mode.
Oh, God. What else? I know you're not too fond of Nightmare. What do you have there?
Nightmare's all right, I guess. Let me look. I have Eldritch, I have the mace, and I have the helmet.
Hmm.
So I'm like, for the Inquisitor top and bottom, the hauberk and plate skirt, I don't know. I'm gonna wait till Ancestral top for sure before going back.
Yeah, and you might as well wait even longer at this point, just because I feel like
See
something's gonna happen.
see if something busted happens. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I mean, it's just like it's at the point where it's not even wishful thinking. It's just like this is good for the game to get this addressed. Like what are we gonna do? Are we gonna spend another 5 years like not touching the place? Like the place is already becoming almost pointless. I mean, especially with the chambers change to make Tecton guarantee a hammer with absolutely no requirement. You just
Yeah, you can just go in there with like literally 60 attack and a Dragon Warhammer and hit it every time.
yeah. You could be where I don't even know if there's anything like negative crush bonus, but you could just wear some.
Wear wizard robes for all I care, and
Yeah,
it'll still hit.
that was really dumb, and we were talking about that on my
Yeah.
like last night's stream. Is like on top of them not making Inquisitors useful and maybe upping the price from a change that would be something like I've been promoting, like if you have a certain crush accuracy threshold, if you've met that threshold, which who knows what it would be, but it would require Inquisitors that, I mean, optimally I would just like a full Inquisitor set to guarantee a hammer. I think that would just
Yeah.
be like the best way to go about it. But even if it was a threshold, at least then Inquisitors could have that going for it. But now it's actually the opposite effect, where now Inquisitors is worth less because now you're not going to bring it because it's just a pointless 3 switches to bring,
It
basically.
got devalued, yeah.
Yeah.
Even I was watching like Scotty, I think, this morning, and he doesn't even bring it anymore. It's
Nope.
all Torva.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
like not even worth taking all that extra damage anymore.
I know. And I can't. I guess we'll kind of just continue on that real briefly because I know we were talking about if there was a potential place in game where guaranteeing a hammer with full Inquisitors would be a negative, would leave like a negative impact on the game. Did we ever think of anything that where it's actually like a actual negative?
Like the most, I guess, quote unquote, broken thing that would happen is if you hit a nightmare on every face of nightmare, but even that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because you're already bringing full Inquisitors in a sense. I mean, that would just be another
Yeah.
great. I mean, we literally see it with Chambers and with what's its face, Toa, where like the items you get from there end up making the boss a lot nicer. I personally
Yeah.
have never seen that being like a great like route to go down. I don't know. It just feels arbitrary. But at the same time, if you're gonna just be camping Inquisitors the entire time, that would be kind of cool to make it so when you get the full set, now this place rocks. You know.
Yeah. I mean, even if we did give Inquisitor that effect, it still would be a little bit lackluster, I think. So it's kind of like, why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Why not just do it? Like,
I just
there's
think that's the way
no
to
reason
go.
not to. Yeah.
And I mean, even just another thing to say on that, like obviously I'm on the corp grind right now, and just you're trying to hit a hammer, and there were,
Yeah.
I mean, literally within the span of like 5 kills, there were 3 separate kills that I went over 11 hammers. I hit 11
Gosh.
zeros with like basically max besides the myth cape, which I don't wear the myth cape because it looks bad. I just don't want it, and it makes a 9-way switch, which is just awful.
Well, that's terrible.
No, but it's like, dude. And then I'll get people coming into the chat like, no, that's what RS is supposed to be. It's RNG, you know, which I can
But
appreciate at some point, but we don't need to like be incredibly just like stern on that point. Like, nah, you got to fucking suffer nonstop. It's just,
yeah, like when I was doing corp, trying out that Void Waker method, I think I went like an entire games necklace without hitting a Warhammer because I don't have Inquisitor. So it's even worse if you don't have it already.
God.
Because it does help, but it's
It
not like what it could
does.
be.
But once you have it, your expectations increase. You're like, okay, this should hit, right?
I did 4,000 nightmare for this, and it missed.
It's just
What
not.
the hell?
It's not
Yeah,
fair. It's not fair, man.
yeah, yeah.
What else could be done about night? Okay, so this is something I don't really talk about often because I just really haven't really brainstormed many good ideas. There's some ideas, but I don't know what the overarching effect would be. But what do you think about like the harmonized staff? It has a use in PvP still, which is extremely
Yeah.
janky to be fair. But like, what are we?
I mean, if its whole power wasn't based entirely off of the Tome of Fire, then it might be better. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
So do you think that the elemental change will make it so the harm is like
Ooh.
hella good again?
It could, but at the same time, it's probably not going to be better than a shadow still
I'm gonna say,
anywhere. But we'll
I don't know
see.
about anywhere because if they're making if they're because what they
I mean,
said
the
was
Ice Demon, I guess.
the
Ice Demon.
the
Yeah.
shadow makes what is it like it was like air, was it air shadow or was it earth shadow? It was like something like where the elements were like air, water, earth, fire, and then there was another element attached. We're like,
Oh, so you could like choose which one you want your shadow to be, or
no,
it's
no,
like
no, no, no.
already
Like
pre-assigned.
yeah, it was pre-assigned. Let me actually just pull that
Okay.
whole like blog post up because now
But like all the ancient spells were assigned to one of the elemental
exactly,
spells.
yeah, that was
Okay.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
I want to see because yeah, if they make the and I don't think they are trying to go down that route of making the weaknesses like absolutely extreme where you are trolling if you're not using that style, but it could be significant enough where the harmonized staff becomes pretty damn good at some places where you are using mage, which already there's very, very few places where you're going to be just maging shit in the first place.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like they're gonna have to like nerf the crap out of the Tome of Fire in order for that to be balanced at all.
Oh yeah, they are. Okay, it is
Yeah.
Earth Shadow. So let me just pull this up for those on the YouTube end, and I'll say it for those listening on Spotify and stuff. Okay, so air, smoke, water, ice, earth, shadow, fire, blood. It's kind of cool in a sense because They didn't just make it go upward like in progression, like how the ancients are, like ice is highest.
Oh,
So,
like damage wise, they would all be equal. That would be
and
nice, actually.
to listen, this might be a hot like take, but I would not be against. Well, first of all, I've already been saying this, but I'm going to take it a step further. I would not be against them making all elemental tiers. Or let me rephrase that. What are they called? Like the strike spells, bolt spells,
Yeah.
all those. Having them all have equal damage neutrally. Like if it's just like a neutral boss, they all hit the same. I don't like it how an air strike hits a 2 and a fire strike hits an 8. That's absolutely absurd.
I mean, that might be a little unbalanced at like level 1 through 9 or whatever, but yeah.
So what it would be though is you're not just guaranteeing hitting 8s. It would go off of your magic level, similar to like
Oh,
the
okay.
trident and stuff. So who knows how that
Okay.
would work out? You know, they obviously would have to put a bunch of numbers
No,
in.
that makes sense actually. Like you have to have the level for Fire Strike in order to hit the 9 or whatever it is that the max hit would be.
It's like no, it would be like actually yeah, maybe that I don't know. It's hard to say how I'd actually want to see it go down because this is assuming all of them get changed. So you know how like toward the end, like the surges, they're all like 1 damage apart.
Hmm.
That they would all be equal. So I wonder, because don't they all go up by like 4 damage each? Like each progression, it's like 8 and then 12 and then
Oh, yeah, yeah,
16.
yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I believe that's how it is. So I don't know. I feel like me talking about this is just pointless because the amount of changes they're going to make is going to be so like crazy. It's just going to touch on so many other things. But basically what I want is those to all do the same amount of damage ultimately. And then what if, I know this is the hotter take, is what if they did the same thing to ancients where all 4 of those styles just actually have the same max hit. So there is kind of a difference of utility. You don't have to freeze to get your maximum DPS if you don't want your fucking mobs frozen, but also trying to
Blood
get,
Barrage would be so nice.
yeah.
Just
So,
Blood Barrage everything.
I mean, it is expensive though. We got to keep that in mind. But yeah, like it would just
Yeah.
be, you could just use smoke or shadow as well and get the same max hit. So there is like different utility. Who knows what's going to happen, but that is going to be the case. So now that, just going back to the harm staff, I think, who knows? Maybe it will be in a good place.
I hope they figure something out with it just because of how useless it is at the moment,
Yeah,
especially for Ironmen. I speak mainly from like the Ironman perspective. Like that thing's completely useless to me,
it
even if I
is.
had it.
It is. I haven't touched it like in years.
Maybe
Well,
to do like a speed run, but that's it.
yeah, I mean, it never even felt good to use in the first place. It's such a chore. Like if you brood, you'd have to restore before you attack anything again, or else you're just
Gosh,
locked out and then you have to reassign the spell. It's like, what is going on,
yeah,
dude?
I didn't even think of that.
That was so
Wait,
annoying.
if you equip another magic weapon, doesn't that also deactivate the spell? Like if you
No,
equip another staff?
if you brood, I'm actually not sure. Well, it doesn't initially, but I think if you brood down and then
Mm.
switched so if you brood down, then switched weapons and then switch back, I think that might trigger. So you have to set it up again.
Oh gosh.
But I don't know if it's like you actually have to target something and then the game registers because I could fully de-gear with runes and everything. The funny thing is like when I would kill jellies with a Kodai and I'd have it set to like Ice Barrage or whatever, if I didn't have the runes in my inventory and I equip my Kodai first, even
Oh
without
no.
trying to attack anything, it
Okay.
would just instantly disable the spell because I don't have the runes in my inventory. But if I brought the runes out in my inventory first and then equipped the thing, nothing changes. So
Yeah, I'm just thinking about a time when I was killing Zulra on like a hardcore Iron Man with an Iban staff, and I would have to like equip a fire staff to teleport out of there or something like that, and it would always deactivate the spell. So like
so
half the time I would start the Zulra kill just like trying to staff bash it. So I was wondering if the
God.
same thing happened to the Harmonized staff, because that was annoying.
You know what's I don't know why this was just came to my mind. I read this Reddit post. It was some guy basically was killing Duke Succulus without prey melee on for like 1,000 kills.
What?
He just didn't know. He just thought it was like some, typeless attack, which it really does seem like a typeless attack. I mean, I wouldn't have known any better if I just didn't mess around and just see other streamers putting it on. But it almost feels like Verzik. Like Verzik P2, when I was first learning top, I thought you had to have prey range on. But no, it's just if you make a mistake, then it,
Yeah.
protects you. So I could
Mhm.
see somebody making that mistake if they're not watching content, and they're just doing their own thing.
So did he just pray mage then? Or he
No, he
prayed
just didn't pray
nothing?
anything. He just took
Oh
like
my
tens and
gosh.
12s and shit or whatever, just for 1,000 kills. And but what was funny is like in the reply section, there was some guy saying, "I don't think Duke was ever meant to be a melee fight because I feel like
No.
that mechanic of
Yeah.
him stomping it's almost like a deterrent to be up there. And then you have 9 vents spanning like the back of the room with other
And like
little like little pillars to hide behind.
6 pillars or something, right?
Yeah. Or I think 6. And
But
it's
what are
like
his, let me see his defense stats.
I'll actually pull up the post.
His
It's
range and mage defense is so high though, so it definitely was meant to be meleeed.
well, what the reply was saying was basically they were thinking of making it a
Hmm.
non-melee fight, but then at the very last minute they're like, okay, let's just change it. So the scythe basically the conspiracy is that they just wanted the scythe to have use. So like
Yeah.
last minute they changed it.
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted the scythe to have use, they should have made Vardorva's 3x3.
It's true. No, I actually we were talking about that as well. We're gonna go on to all these things. The Soul Reaper
Yeah.
axe, I actually like that it could fill that niche of 2x2s.
Hmm. Yeah, I haven't finished my axe yet, so I haven't gotten the chance to use it,
Hmm.
but it looks nice, other than the damage you take by using it.
I'm probably not gonna be. I'm just browsing trying to find this shit. But yeah, I was basically let's see if I can see. I think I read it like literally this morning, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Oh, here it is. Okay, I found it. So it says I did over 1K Duke Casey without realizing his auto attack could be reduced with Protect Melee. And then this guy said tinfoil hat is on because what I'm about to say is totally unfounded, but I've thought about it ever since the DT2 release. I'm actually going to link this to you real quick as well,
Okay, for
just so
sure.
you can see it on your end. But it's just fascinating because it actually kind of makes sense. So it's like the first, one of the first replies. I believe Duke was designed to be a boss fought using magic slash range, but was later retrofitted to be a melee boss sometime during development to give the scythe a use against at least one of the Forgotten Four. Here's my thought process. Duke's primary attacks are magical. His Ice Barrage and his standard blue magic attack, most of his attacks tend to target you when you're away from him. Duke's melee attack genuinely looks like it's a punishment for getting too close. Think Whisperer and the Fragment of Saren. You're not meant to fight him in melee, and the Ice Slam is meant to be a telegraph to the player to get back. The arena has several alcoves / pillars to hide behind, despite the ones to his immediate left and right, which are there, which are more than enough to hide from his gaze. Similarly, the 9 vents throughout the room serve little purpose during the fight, when only the front 3 are ever used when you're fighting in melee. These make me think Duke was meant to be fought from a distance, with the player moving up and down the arena, avoiding vent gas and hiding in one of the 6 alcoves pillars. That was the most convenient to them at the time during his gaze attack. Unless there's a lore / in-game explanation, Duke has an inexplicable resistance to Demon Bane attacks, taking only 70% damage from those sources. This feels completely arbitrary, like it was a choice made after the boss was made, except that the Arclight didn't outshine the Scythe. This similarly reduces the effectiveness of the Demon Bane spells, which seems like they would have been the perfect candidate for the giant demon boss if he didn't have incredibly high magic defense, not just a high magic level. So basically, like the TLDR is, well, actually, there was something else that was said, I think. So he wanted to know at the end if like the demon, if they didn't make it so like melee was the preferred method to kill it, he would have loved to see, if some of the stats were changed, if the Demon Bane attacks from the Archaea spellbook would have been what they were hoping to get out of that boss. And you got to think as well, it drops the Magus Vestige, which is the mage ring.
Oh my gosh, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's tinfoil hat. But
Dude.
it makes
No,
sense.
it makes sense. Dude, the Demon Bane spells are completely useless other than to do a combat achievement.
Yep.
Like,
I think
it
that
makes sense.
literally what I, in fact,
That's so funny
I would
how the
even,
arc light.
no, it's just stupid. I actually, again, it's like these stupid arbitrary things where like you expect an arc light to do what it says it does, and then you're just like certain places that just don't do it. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, this is a demon, but since we want this weapon to be better than a quest item, we're reducing this so that it's not better. Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Jagex logic.
They could address the arc light. To be fair, that
It's
thing is
so bad.
jank. It's like they did it like it's such like a short term mindset of like, oh, this balances pretty well right now, but they didn't consider that this thing gives a 70% fucking strength buff to your setup. So every single strength bonus you're adding eventually just starts annihilating shit.
And it's a quest item. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, at least it has charges.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
how hard
that
is it to
used to
get
mean
those
something though.
charges?
Well, it used to mean something, but then we realized very shortly after the Catacombs release that Catacombs and being able to barrage and multi was like the craziest thing to ever happen to Slayer. It's just easy to gather
Yeah,
shards.
completely busted.
Yeah. Who knows though? Maybe like I wouldn't be against like some Demon Bane crossbow or something that could.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would definitely fill a gap.
I also, speaking of crossbows, I wanted to see a like Van. Were you there when must have been 2 years ago or something when I was talking about the Van Helsing crossbow of like being able to kill vampires with range? Because right now all you can do is kill it with like the blisterwood flail.
I mean, yeah, that would be cool too.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna say third age crossbow though.
we need that too. We need that, dude. What do you think
True.
about that actually? So the collection log.
Oh man.
Because so many people are cloggers now, it feels like we're gate kept from ever adding new things to pieces of content because people green log it and then feel this you can't touch it anymore because I did this and it's unfair.
I think that's especially sensitive for clue scrolls just because of how much time it takes to do them.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because it would come from master clues. Or maybe elite, right? Because that
Yeah,
drops the wand and the longsword.
yeah, it would come from elites and masters, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Jeez. That would piss some people off. I mean,
It would,
but then again, like nobody's really gonna complete all the third age items anyway. So might as well do it now.
yeah, and it's like one of those things where I mean, you just got to think of just to put an analogy, like people that win for 200 mil all 8 years ago, like nowadays you would see that as like the most massive disadvantage of all time. But we understand that this game progresses. So us playing right now, we are severely just not getting as much output as we would in 5 years from now. Like we just like the amount of hours you have to put in now is just way more than you would have to put in 5 years from now because you're just gonna have things are gonna get updated, skills are gonna get faster, gear's gonna get better, and I feel like if we just maintain that mindset, it's okay to release things to log because everyone's getting affected by it. Some people are obviously getting more affected. Like for example, if I were to complete Corp tomorrow and then all of a sudden they give the divine onto the table and like I just have to go back to Corp for basically the same amount of kills again just to hunt one sigil, like I am accepting of that. Like I understand that that's the game I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be just like, oh my God, I'm gonna like, what the fuck? Like I know what I'm getting myself into. And I feel like cloggers need to get that through their head of like,
yeah,
you are choosing to do this and you're gonna get fucked over hard later. Like you're just gonna.
I am so glad I'm not like hard set on like finishing a lot of the collection log. But what I've personally done, like even though I'm collection logging, I just want to complete like certain sections that I'm interested in and not necessarily like get the most ridiculous inflated number.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some things you can do that are just like so easy that would inflate the number so much.
Yeah.
And I think people like that, like seeing the bigger number. But I'm like, dude, let me complete like the miscellaneous section on the collection log. That would be really cool.
Yeah, no, it's like you fall into that trap of being a clogger, and then it just comes to bite you in the ass.
Yeah. And then I see the Dragonstone armor sitting there. I'm like, oh, maybe, maybe not.
Dude, that fucking evil chicken, just
It's
devaluation.
so bad.
It's
It's a
like
terrible grind, but
but it's like it's not used for. It was supposed to be a stupid grind. Like that's the
yeah.
purpose of it. Like you came out with this stupid long grind that has absolutely no use other than this stupid cosmetic.
I think the first mistake they made was buffing the birdhouse runs to actually make it possible to complete the set.
Mm.
Because before that, it was like 27 years of miscellanea, and you might get it.
Yeah, yeah,
Good luck.
yeah. And it was like something like, well, if you want to speed it up, you can just go chop teaks for like 600 mil XP or some shit. Like so, the time it took to do that plus miscellanea or something,
It's like,
something
might as
ridiculous.
well go do something else, like more fun. Like,
Yeah. I
don't do that.
I really think that the birdhouses, like that was a positive change.
It
But
was, but
what the fuck was that last thing? Where you could get like how many eggs were people getting a day? Like
ends,
100?
the ends, I don't know. Because it was like a friend's chat where they would just call out the location, and then you could just like teleport to that location and get a bird egg real quick.
That's
So
so
I
fucking
don't know.
broken. Why was it guaranteed? Like why?
Because
Okay.
apparently, if you give little ants a nice haircut, they reward you with a nest with an egg in it. I don't know. Just Jagex logic yet again.
Okay. Again, I going back. Somebody's gonna just call me out in the comments right now. Like, hey, weren't you just saying that you can't get butthurt over things getting devalued? There is still something to be said about not just breaking things just for the sake of breaking shit. Like, if they were to randomly come out with a fucking, I don't know, some guaranteed tooth half and loop half from a minute fight, like just something where it like completely breaks the Ironman grind of dragging out or grinding out Dragonstone armor. Like, why even do it? Like, stop it. Like, this is an iconic grind. Like, just leave it alone. And I don't know. I just felt like that it would be okay if they made it so forestry was balanced in a way where, okay, yeah, you could do these events and get slightly more eggs per hour. But God,
Yeah.
they just overshot it so hard.
Well, maybe they did it on purpose at the same time to make forestry look like it was a big success at
That's
the same time.
that's the tinfoil
Like,
hat I am putting on every day.
yeah, just like, oh, look at all these thousands of players that are loving forestry. Like, yeah, no, duh.
Yeah.
You're saving them like thousands of birdhouse runs. Thousands of
God.
birdhouse runs.
Oh, I just want to know like what's running through some of the JMods minds like when they drop shit like that. Like, oh yeah, this update is gonna slap so hard. They're gonna discover that we just broke another grind, so they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
God.
that's the case for all the stuff that we voted no on, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, they voted no, so we got to give them a little something so they start voting yes more.
I did like the survey that they put out. I you know just on Twitter was seeing people screenshotting stuff, and some people are getting mad for no reason over just them asking like questions just for data. You know, something
Mhm.
like, are, would you be okay, or there's something about the polling system.
It's like gauging interest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the things that caught a lot of attention though, especially on Twitter, was official niche modes.
Mhm. Yeah, I saw that.
What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, um, I think they're cool. I think that people like those things, but I don't know if we should make like a whole game mode for those things specifically. Um, the way I see new game modes is it's basically just a fresh start at a race on the high scores.
Hmm.
And, things like Bronze Man mode, like the total level that you achieve doesn't really gauge your success on that mode. So, like, how are you going to have high scores for that? So that's like one of the things that came to mind, like why I would say, we can just keep that as a RuneLite plugin, and then whoever wants to do it can do it.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. No, I think that's the, especially on Twitter, that seems to be the dominating.
that's the general consensus overall.
Exactly. Is like this
I
is
wouldn't
unnecessary.
I wouldn't mind them adding like one more game mode if like it got enough support,
Hmm.
but I don't know what that game mode would even be to get that much support that it would get into the game. Because it seems like people are just like, no more game modes. We're good.
Yeah.
Like after the group Ironman stuff, like we're good. We don't need any more of that.
Yeah, that's fair. When people, well, first of all, there are, and I don't see this often because I'm not just a lot of the people that play Group Ironman. Like there is a huge chunk of players that play Group Ironman. I am reminded every day when I do farm runs. I'm just like constantly some group Ironman's talking to me. I'm like, what the fuck is that helmet? And I'm like, oh yeah, there's that game mode in the game. And then yesterday I was trying to find a corp world and I saw two people in the Iron Man instance fighting corp. I'm like, dude, you like,
Oh,
what do they do? Like, did they find a glitch where you can like alt this? And I realized no,
not
group
fun.
Iron Men are the same as me. And then I started getting triggered and I started like realizing that I don't want to see people have fun together. I want them to suffer like I am. So no, I'm kidding. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm reminded constantly that there is a ton of people that play Group Ironman. Is it extremely successful of a mode? I don't know. I actually don't know the numbers on it, but we have to remember that Group Ironman is not dead. It's not, and that
Nah.
we think that because we never see it. There's barely any people that are perma on Twitter are playing Group Ironman.
I mean, if you're someone who actually has friends and enjoys Iron Man, I think it's great. But that's not me.
I mean, even as like a content creator, I just think Group Ironman. Well, I have to think as well because I'm not a player that just loves remaking accounts. That's like that sounds like the least fun thing in my opinion. I the reason I love RuneScape is because of that endless progression.
Yeah.
That's why I gravitate toward this game and I don't play any other games. It's just like every other game feels. This is the biggest waste of time, but every other game feels more of a waste of time because I'm not getting something that's
Not
permanent.
like nothing permanent, nothing, no progress is kept.
Exactly. But
Yeah, for the group Ironman, I mean, I've been asked to do a few, but I just feel like with everything I have going on in my life right now, like I would feel so guilty if someone was just sweating their ass off, like doing all this stuff, like getting to 93 Slayer and buying it, or like getting everybody occult necklaces and doing all this stuff, and I was just like, uh, I can only put in like 5 hours this week. Sorry.
yeah,
Like I
that
would hate to be that guy.
and it happens the opposite too, where like you're the one sweating and you don't really care if somebody's. It almost like just leaves this like I don't know. I feel like no matter what, you're not going to be playing the exact same amount and going quite as hard. So there
Yeah.
is going to be like contention in the group, no
And
matter
then there's
what.
like, and then there's going to be a skill gap too, where like, oh, nobody except for me can do corrupted gauntlet. So now I have to go get 5 bofas and 5 sets of crystal. Like stuff like that just
Yeah.
does not sound fun. Like,
The best part about Group Iron Man is just the idea that like dupes mean something. Like hell
that's true.
yeah, got a
Yeah.
dupe.
And the hardcore group content creators are pretty entertaining. Those are some good uh, series, I guess. But
Yeah, it's got to be temporary. It would be very hard for content creators to just make it normal Group
yeah,
Iron Man and just be like, yeah, this is our permanent content now.
yeah,
Doesn't work out that way. Funny, because this must have been a couple years back, I think, or not a couple. Well, I don't know. Whenever Group Iron Man was like kind of first popping off, I was in the catacombs just killing some banshees. I was like testing out some to see if banshees were worth it for hard clues potential. I was like trying to see if I could,
mm,
I don't know, bulwark them and stuff. But I met up with this group Iron Man, and he said he plays with he's in a group with his two brothers, his mom, and his dad. Yeah, just like a straight up like that. His entire family has a 5-man group Iron Man, and
oh
I was like,
gosh,
that is kind of fucking wholesome. that's so cool. But it's like, bruh, what kind of family plays RuneScape? Like all together in a group. Like that's dope as shit. Like I can't even imagine.
I'm
But
just picturing them all at the dinner table on RuneScape Mobile, like while they're eating their dinner.
like, dude,
Hey,
that's so cool though.
can you put this in the group storage?
Dude, I mean, even like relationship goals of like, you dating a person that has, like a severe RuneScape addiction, you just make a group Ironman together. Like that sounds like wholesome, and
Oh,
just something like,
so
like we can
nice.
progress together, like we can
Yeah.
e-date at the Grand Exchange and follow each other and shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad it's in the game. And just going back to the niche modes, it excites. One of the things that excites me about it, and I know I'm not in the majority, especially on Twitter. There's maybe in the casual player base, a lot of people would agree with me that, just fuck it. If it's fun, it's fun. Just release it.
Yeah.
But there are consequences to this. I'm not ignoring the consequences of just adding a bunch of game modes. Optimally, it would be add one or two, just maybe like two of the ones that are the most popular in a
Yeah.
certain time frame, and then wait a couple years and see what happens, just so there's something fresh, something if somebody burnt out of an account or got hacked or something, they feel like this rejuvenation to be like, oh my god, there's a fresh new permanent high scores, something that nobody's done before, it's official, there's some cool little niche way to play it. I think that's cool. And yeah, it's gonna cause more problems with every single future update now. Like because we have these game modes in the first place, like Iron Man, Ultimate Iron Man, they have to like consider so many different things, and that'll
Oh yeah,
just
we're
continually get worse. But
just bending content to everybody's needs right now. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. There's like something cool about area restriction that's official. It's
I
like,
mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. If Bronze Man's released in a year and I still don't have an ancestral top, I'm gonna be like number one. I'm gonna be the number one Bronze Man,
wouldn't
even
that
though I
be
don't
cool though? Like, wouldn't that be
PvP.
so fun? Like, just
I think it would be fun to do a Bronze Man.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, even though I don't. That's like you have to kill another player for your gear, right?
No.
Okay, what is it?
Okay,
Because I thought
it,
that's
it
what it
could
was.
be. So bronze, there's like two versions of it where you
Uh-huh.
could kill somebody. I don't think they're going to go down that route because then you could just cheese it. Just literally get full Torva like day one.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, I guess.
It would be just the opposite where if you have it on your collection log, you can buy it. So
Oh,
so everything that you can use the Grand Exchange, you can get any supplies, you can get anything you want from there, but you have to earn the things initially, and then it's free game. Like then you can buy as many
okay.
as you want.
So it's Iron Man without chores, basically.
Exactly. It's literally what everybody wants. Like, I don't personally want it. Well, I mean, I do want it. I do want it in the game because it keeps my mode pure. It keeps my mode more pure because now we have a bronze end mode. So it's like, go fucking over, like go over there if you don't want. Like, quit adding Scar Essence. The Scar Essence is because we do not have a bronze man. If we had bronze man mode, Scar Essence wouldn't have needed to be a thing.
If they just gave us blood rune packs, like this wouldn't have been an
Or
issue.
just change, or just make some huge changes to RC and how you obtain runes.
I mean, I guess it was a huge update to RC and how you obtain runes, but
It's true. It's barely
it's
RC though.
so
I
it's so
literally did
bad.
2 hours. I'm done. I'm done for the next like 3 years of rune crafting.
Yeah. I think I did like 5 trips and I'm good for the next few months.
It's like, dude, what is going on? Yeah.
No, that came about just the only reason that's in the game is because they didn't want to give us rune packs.
Yeah.
It's
Now, I mean,
literally it.
I made so many videos on this, but like, I almost would have been more okay. Actually, I would have, not even almost. Like, I would have been more okay. Like, if everyone's deciding that GP can buy runes on an Ironman because it's already been the case and it's just tedious, then just make it so buy X. Like, you could just click buy X on shops. Like, just boom, there we go, we're done. But rune crafting still means something.
No, it doesn't because I mean, granted, before the True Blood Altar came out, it was like, okay, do 3 months of Zaya rune crafting for blood runes so that you can go do Tob for a couple weeks.
Yeah, and that's
That
why
was literally
I
what
know,
it
and, and
was.
and and I'm not saying like how it was perfect at all. It was actually we were in a horrible state. They started making some changes with Guardians of the Rift and the outfit and all this other stuff to make it more feasible. But I was still like, bruh, pump that shit out. Like make it so And I came out with that idea of like the cosmic underworld and stuff, of like ideas where really you could just obtain loads amount of runes through the rune craft skill. Like,
Yeah. I mean, if it was actually more runes per hour than like just going and buying 250 out of every world, I would have done it, but that was not even close to the case. I
mhm.
could get like 50,000 runes in an hour just hopping.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So,
I don't know. I think the other thing that's just odd about Scar Essence is like after you've mined the extracts, you literally can craft over 300,000 blood runes an hour. I crafted
yeah.
310,000 in an hour.
Yep.
Like what? Like
And there,
why couldn't that have been reduced 6x? Like what? Like why? Like it's just the number was astronomical for no reason. I feel like, but yeah,
and
whatever.
the funny thing is, it's like one step off of buying blood runes for a 20% discount.
Um, oh, wait, explain that. Like, what do you mean?
So it's one step from just being able to buy blood runes at a 20% discount. All you have to go do is go craft them.
Yep, yep, and it's yeah, no, it's just the
So,
the other thing that is odd, and I have OCD about this a lot. So like I hesitate even mentioning any changes to Scar Essence because now it sounds like, oh, you like Scar Essence because you want changes to it. It's like no, it's like, but I still have OCD about the prices of what they're charging for certain runes. Aren't they charging 200 per astral?
oh yeah. Some of them are like really high
Yeah, it's just
compared
like
to what they should be.
I don't know. I just wish there was like a goddamn overhaul about RC, just making it so you craft runes. Like RC is the way you craft a lot of runes, and that's and another negative consequence similar to like the fact that now you can guarantee a hammer at Tecton. It's kind of like in that similar vein of like there are unintended consequences to adding Scar Essence. One of them is why ever do other methods of RC, because now you can just basically do the shop version where you just inject GP and get whatever you want in a matter of like 1 hour. And
Yeah.
now it's like you might as well, if you're training RC, just do the fastest method, which is so boring because now you've just created less diversity in the training methods because you might as well just go as fast as humanly possible and not experience like, okay, I actually want this rune. Let's go train it a little bit slower in this method and get more profit. It's like, no, it's literally all about just do it as fast as possible now.
Get there, get to the point where you can do what you need as fast as possible.
Exactly.
Get to 77. Is it 77 or 90 something for
Seventy
True Blood?
77, right? Yeah. I
Really?
think the agility levels are
Oh,
higher.
90 something for agility shortcut, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just get 77 as fast as you can, and then you're good. You can buy blood runes.
Yep.
Infinite amount, basically.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about I guess a little bit more about that rebalancing that's happened, obviously, or that is going to be happening. So,
Juicy. Okay.
Fang, Scythe, Occult. I'm just listing off some shit that's like pretty big. But what are your thoughts overall on that whole like blog post?
I love it. I think it's much needed. I do think a lot of it's way too late, but better late than never. I think the occult was the biggest one for me, just because it's been such a problem for so long. And just to give a little bit of context to like what I mean is it's literally the most powerful single item in any style other than like a weapon, and it's 500k.
I mean, even the price doesn't. I mean,
Or
the
93 Slayer,
yeah,
which like literally Alfie did that in like what 10 days on an Ironman on a
yeah.
group iron. So it's like 93 Slayer isn't really that
I mean, I'm
prestigious
even gonna
anymore.
go like the full route of like just completely discounting any of the requirements or any of the price. It's absurd to have an amulet slot be that powerful in for any reason.
It doesn't even matter what slot it is. It's the most powerful item of any other item in the game. Like not including weapons, of
Yeah,
course. Like
yeah.
of course, if you go from like a whip to a scythe, it's like a bigger difference. But
Hmm.
like armor wise, boots, amulet, top, bottom, shield, whatever, that is the most powerful one. So make it make sense. It comes from Slayer. It's like worth 500K in the Grand Exchange. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they're considering lowering it to at least 5%.
And
Did they say what they're going to do with the other 5%? Are they going to give it back to other gears, or are they just going to like hang on to that for later?
wait, did they say 5%? Is that what they were kind of saying? Let me have to look at this.
All I saw was a thumbnail with minus 5%. So
Okay.
I don't,
Yeah, I don't know because it doesn't say here in the blog. I'm reading it right now. It just says occult necklace, far too much power in a single item. Bring its power down slightly and distribute its magic damage across other parts of magic progression.
okay, that makes sense.
It could
I
be
mean,
5. I mean, it could.
it needs to be at least 5, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I was gonna.
But we
Yeah, go for it.
go for it. Okay, I'll go. But yeah, we have the Eternal Boots, which is like 2 Slayer levels away from what the occult is, right? From Cerberus,
Mm-hmm.
and has 0%
Yep.
damage boost. And it's like barely any accuracy. So it's pretty much a useless item when it comes to like the end game, unless you're only using magic.
Yeah.
But in most cases, you have to switch gear, so it's not even worth bringing 99% of the time. And then we have Augury, which, Piety, 23% strength. Augury, 23% damage to ranged. And then we have Augury, no damage boost at all.
Yep.
And it's the highest prayer, like the highest level, 77 prayer. And it's like the highest draining prayer too. Like it drains more prayer than the other ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
They.
it's like, hmm.
Yeah, I think like optimally it would be a cult is like 5. I was back in the day. I would say like a cult could even just be nerfed to 6%. I would even like to see a slight nerf to tormented only, and this is only because I'm seeing the full arsenal. Like your ancestral
Yeah.
is only 2%. I want to keep things where like your every switch feels a little bit more useful. I don't like just absolutely overpower things. We don't really see that with melee. Like melee, everything's pretty well rounded. Your boots give 5, your armor legs give 4, your plate body gives 6, your gloves your gloves give a lot technically in melee, but like it would basically be like okay, 4% tormented, 6% occult, 2% for eternals, and then 5% for so technically in the long run you are getting more because augury would be given 5%, or even like 4% would be plenty, but like
That would be fine. I
yeah.
mean, I think another conversation, a side conversation, is that Shadow needs to be nerfed, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes, dear God, yes.
So yeah, I think that would fit in with that too. Is like, okay, we're increasing the total damage you can do with magic, but we're actually like scaling back the Shadow a little bit, so it's not quite as busted.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll actually help close the gap because it'll make like the Sang staff a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe one max hit.
Yeah,
So I think that would all work out just fine. I mean, sounds good to me.
you're gonna get some flack because people are like, it's a mega rare, it needs to be good, but like, dude, mega rares are supposed to fill somewhat of a niche. And
What's a mega rare? The Shadow? Oh, yeah.
yeah, people just
Whatever.
don't want you to. Well, people don't want nerfs in general. People don't want you to touch their mega rares. They want every mega rare to be more buffed, more powerful, and it's like it's okay to make mega rares powerful, but they got to fill a niche. Tebow's not good everywhere.
Yeah. And
Scythe
Shadow
isn't
just,
good everywhere. Shadow's good everywhere.
and it takes so much less hours than the other mega rares to achieve
Yeah,
also.
yeah,
So it's like, maybe it shouldn't be good at everything.
yeah. So what are your thoughts? So let's actually. I'm just gonna go up the list. It says Void Waker, and what
Oh
Jagex
no.
says is guaranteed hits in PVM makes it difficult to design worthwhile spec DPS weapons in the future without creeping upwards significantly.
That is very true. I mean, the Void Waker's just busted. I mean, there's no other way. There's nothing else to say. It's completely busted. And I love it. I love that I have
No,
one. I
me
love
too. Me too.
like this is like the opposite end of the occult argument. Like it's the best. And I love it. Like I don't want it to change, but I know that like for the future of the game it's probably best. Oh,
Yeah,
but it's so fun to use, man.
it's just like one of those things where it's new first off, so it feels like it should be like the new best thing to use, and it is cool because when claws came out, I mean claws just were just you use it everywhere. Like it's just they're
Yeah,
so fucking powerful.
yeah,
And now we have the Void Waker, which is like the new and improved claws, which is
yeah.
fun and it makes sense. But yeah, when you think about it, like for the future, what are you gonna do that's gonna outclass the Void Waker spec?
Make something that's like guaranteed 100%. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
you
then
kind of have to go if you want to make a spec weapon really powerful and used at a lot of places. You know, you just have to fucking make it guaranteed now. So
or it's like a chance at hitting some insane number, I guess. Like,
yeah, like the Karases or whatever. Just
yeah,
fucking. By the way, I love that they added those Karases.
I
I don't
haven't
give them
used
that. I don't really
that
talk about them
much.
much, but they're just. I like that. There's just a random like fucking 170 you can hit. Like, just awesome.
I tried it out on KQ for a bit, but I didn't get that hit. So I was like, eh,
It's so rare. I wish it was actually more common simply because
yeah.
it is just for bugs. So it's not like breaking anything really. It's just making the like KQ tasks more fun and potentially like it would have been cool as well if that was used at Kefri. But no, you just use the Fang everywhere. Just,
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be KQ's such a annoying boss to kill anyway. Like, make it faster. Why not?
I actually liked
Farm it.
well, I liked the old KQ meta. It I had a video, I think it got taken down because of the music I used, but I did publish the blue Karis method where you just fully camp blue Karis for both phases.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was more kills per hour than like switching and doing like blowpipe into Bofa and or every other switch. And I tried out Shadow. Shadow felt, you plug it into a DPS calc, it looks like Shadow does great, but it's like there's
I've tried that. It's not great.
yeah. So and it's hard because you're just taking more damage because you're only just shadowing it once. Where like as with the blowpipe into Bofa or Tebow, you're just getting so much more power into every attack you're taking. So every time you bank is a significant DPS loss that you need to note down.
Yep.
And that blue Karis method was crazy because you walk in with full ink, Blood Fury, and a blue Karis. Your whole inventory is just loaded with food. So you go there, you hit two hammers. Actually, you didn't even telly out. That was the thing you did. You just sat there. You hammered once.
Uh,
You left the cave so you can instantly respawn KQ. Or what? How did it work exactly? I need to go back in that video because it's still in
you
my
just like,
archives. It's just not public.
do you like hop and then
I'm just
re-enter the cave or something?
no, okay. I'm pulling this up now because I need to see this
Okay.
just on my end. But
Yeah,
it,
the running
yeah.
spec pool and then running back every kill. Ugh, I hate that. I'm so glad that they moved away from that for a lot of the bosses. Like the spec pool and then returning to the boss, every single kill being the meta.
Mm,
That used to be good for like all the Slayer bosses, and it was the most annoying thing.
okay. Karis KQ was this was 34 kills per hour.
Woo!
Let me see this. Let me pull this up.
That's pretty good.
I want to see if I can watch it.
I
Okay.
was getting like 28 and 8-way switches, so
I can watch it on my end. So I'm gonna if I link you this, can you see it? You probably can't, but let me just test it because it's blocked. It's just like it's
oh,
fully blocked because I just have to get rid of the music. I just haven't done it.
maybe if I have the
Are
link.
you able to see that?
Looks like I can play it. No, video unavailable.
Okay. Well, it's showing on my end, so I'll just kind of. But let's see what I did. So I would go down. I'm wearing full ink. What I have in my inventory, like I'll actually just like. So my inventory is literally 5 brews, 5 restores, 2 super combats, and 10 food, and then just like a spellbook swap to venge and thralls and a hammer. So it's just
Yeah,
you're just non-stop hitting, and then
endurance.
I wouldn't even actually. Let's see what I did the first kill. So right after the kill ends, I instantly leave. Oh yeah, because that's what happens. It's an instance now. So it is worth your time to leave and then immediately go back down because
Enter,
KQ
and
respawns
it
instantly.
respawns. Oh, dude.
34 kills an hour. And this is in comparison to, let me just pull up what my other KQ video is.
For context, I was doing double Void Waker spec into Scythe and Shadow for the second phase, and I was getting like 28 kills an hour.
Yeah.
Just because I had to bank so much. Like, it could
Yep.
only
Yep.
hold like 10 food.
Yep. You have to bank. And this, and again, like I was bringing 5 brews, so you gotta kind of sort of got to time out your brew usage,
Yeah.
but you get used to it. But yeah, my older video, which I thought was like hella efficient, was 32 kills an hour, and that was with thralls, venge, a full-on setup to get your hammer in, but you are tallying out every single kill.
Yeah.
So it was crazy just sitting there camping and making the method technically more easy because you don't even have to do any switches. Was 2 extra kills an hour.
Jeez.
And probably with the new like Ultor, like I mean, shit, you might even be able to. I don't know. Ultor's not like that crazy, but like
an extra max hit. That's it.
But in the future, like you could pump that shit up eventually. You're gonna, and if they buff Inquisitor somehow and guarantee hammers, ooh.
Oh man, that's gonna be busted.
Yeah, it is.
Because you could just one hammer.
Yeah, just guarantee your. That was the problem with the blue Karis method. Is it was still crazy fast. Like I proved that you can get 34 kills in an hour, but you would have some kills that take devilishly slow, but it was still like way faster because you're just like you miss the hammer and you're like just sitting there whacking this thing 0 after 0 after 0. Just like God.
Yeah, I experienced that for sure. Because I was trying to do like Void Waker into Blue Karis, but it was not hitting very much.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely need to lower the defense for it to be good.
Okay, Osmumten's Fang, they are saying it's too strong on non-stab styles for Slash and harms the position of other high-value melee weaponry like the Scythe, Blade, and Inquisitor's Mace.
I'm just going to say something controversial, even though it's too late, but I think they just needed to make the Fang more rare to begin with.
It's true. No, there's a lot of, I mean...
Like, the Fang is fine if it was like 10 times rarer than it is.
Thing is it's tough because 10x rare is just like God. It just becomes
it's like an arbitrary number, but like still.
You're right. It could have been more rare. Raids 3. This is my elite. It's really not meant to be elitist. It's just saying if you're coming out with an end game raid, it's not supposed to be accessible to everyone on release.
Yeah.
And I think that is the biggest flaw in it because imagine TOB was released and every motherfucker was just camping it because you can just do it. It's accessible to everyone. It's going to be a really popular update. Like okay, like these items are not going to be worth that much, or as much as they could be. We
could really go down the rabbit hole on what they could have done with TOA, but I'm not sure if you want to do that or not.
No, we've already doing
over and over again too. Like I'm sure it comes up a lot.
I talk about this. Everything we've talked about so far, like a lot of it. It's just I've touched so much on it. I get like micro headaches from talking about it because like
broken record syndrome.
It's a lot. I like talking about it because I think it is important to have open, honest discussion about the game and be honest about whether you like an update, give your reasons why. Things are gonna change in the game. So like but I still share my reasoning for why I think certain updates should be a certain way. And I think that's just healthy to have that discussion.
But yeah, I mean, now that we're left with a Fang that is super common, it's like worth 20 mil. Yeah, they definitely need to tone it down a bit, especially the Slash thing. Like double accuracy rolls on Slash is not good. It just devalues Blade and Scythe. It devalues the axe as well, the new axe that's supposed to be really good. It's like, why would you sacrifice 40 HP when you can just keep it all and get like almost the same DPS?
Yeah. So them making it so it's stab. What do you think about like the rapier's place? They didn't even mention the rapier because it is a stab weapon, but Fang is just like the very few places where you're going to be using a rapier anymore.
Honestly, I think in the near future they may need to like either buff those weapons, like the blade, mace, and rapier,
Mm-hmm.
or like release attachments for them because they're like they're they're just irrelevant now.
Yeah, the
Like
Fang
for the
made
most
them
part.
irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean,
The f-
Blade was already somewhat irrelevant with Scythe,
mm-hmm.
but then the new axe came out too, and Fang. Like those two things are better than Blade. And then
Yeah.
Blade, you have to spend 100 mil to get it, and it's not even worth close to that because the Bofa is just inflating its price.
Yep. Yep.
So
I.
that's kind of you should probably do something about that.
It's just tough because like it really just doesn't. When you use the Fang a lot and you switch to anything else, it's like God, this sucks. Like
Just feels so bad hitting zeros.
yeah, the soul. I mean, I got my Soul Reaper axe completed and I started killing Vardorvis with it. And don't get me wrong, I've PB'd twice,
Hmm.
and so like the Soul Reaper axe can do work, but sheesh, like there are some kills that are just painfully slow because you just hit so many zeros randomly.
It's not as accurate, huh?
Yeah, it's just like it's not consistent. You can hit big, and then when you do hit big in one kill, you get a great PB, and then it's like,
Hmm.
okay,
Yeah, a few consecutive like 70s and
yeah,
you're good.
yeah. So I wonder really what the meta or what like we're gonna see with melee going into the future is gonna be like. Like, are we gonna focus on more things with just higher accuracy that feel good, like that kind of like similar to what Osmumpton's Fang is doing, just barely
Yeah.
hit zeros. It just feels good.
I mean, what I would like to see from them is like stop doing the high defense thing so much and like actually add mechanics to the boss that make it fun, if that makes sense. So like instead of defense, you can add a mechanic that's like making you run away and lose DPS instead of just like making you hit zeros all the time.
Mm. Yeah, I
You
mean
know what I
they
mean?
have so many options for things like that.
Yeah. But I feel like something like Vedion was really fun. Like especially killing it with the Ursine Mace, like you never miss, but you're still like super engaged. It's like high effort and it feels rewarding to do it,
Hmm.
rather than just sitting there like hitting something zeros and with like no action whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good. Like, oh, I'm just waiting. I'm just sitting here waiting to hit a
Yep.
number.
Yep.
Like that is not what PVM should be,
One
you know.
one of the worst things, I feel like it would be cool to have a weapon that somehow, and we have thralls for this already in a sense, but like there are some situations where like you will get a monster down to 1 HP and you will hit 4 zeros. And it's like, bro, like why isn't there some sort of like effect or something where I just die, like just fucking like you're dead, like
Some spell or
yeah, just some prayer even that's just like finish him, just some
yeah.
fucking execution prayer. That's like if
Last
it's
hit prayer, last hit weapon,
exactly
something.
if in those circumstances where your monster's literally on the verge of death and you're just hitting zeros a million times, like just I don't know, and that's why I actually think I've talked about in the prayer book. I don't want a separate prayer book. I don't want Ruinous Powers to come out. I even heard some people saying, "Oh, actually, I beta tested Ruinous Powers in leagues and it felt great." Like, bro, you're playing on the biggest private server of all time, and you cannot say this felt normal and great. Like, we don't know that. We just you're on leagues,
Yeah.
but
Leagues.
I
Yes.
I really would when I think of new prayers that could be added. I think of a what was it called? Judgment prayer, which is just a super, super high accuracy, no damage, no defense. In fact, it could even have negative defense. Something that's just like pinpoint accuracy, where you use this to hit your specs and you're going to hit it. Or if a
Mhm.
monster gets really, really low, like this would be the perfect prayer for something that's your monster's at 1 HP. Okay, I don't even need the damage. I just need to fucking hit this. So you pray judgment. And
I
then,
mean,
yeah, go for it.
and then to circle back on the Void Waker thing, what they could do to like make another spec weapon that could potentially be used instead, as in like this is better than the Void Waker in certain situations, is if the monster's below a certain threshold and you spec it, it's guaranteed to die.
Yeah, yeah, that would
So
be
that's similar in terms of like what you're talking about as well.
that would be cool. That's a niche that could be filled. The other thing I want is I think it was called Guardian Prayer. The Guardian Prayer is just a super tank prayer. It's like it's like an augury in a sense, but it's just there is no offensive, there's no anything, and it's just extreme defense that you could pray against. It's like highly draining, but it's something where we already see it right now where you can optimize. I always just gravitate toward next for this example of like step unders. You know, you're saving a lot of extra damage that could be taken on you to just do a step under with a 5-tick weapon. But if you were just rocking a 4-tick weapon, you could just be off tick with next, and you could just switch between piety and guardian. Like whenever she's going to hit you, pray guardian, you know, something where and guardian could even have an effect where there is damage negation, even like, you know, up to 10%, something where it's like, okay, this
Kind of like an alley.
yeah, like it could. And I'm not saying like I'm absolutely not being dogmatic about this. I don't want it to feel like you are, well, the thing is most defensive things, you'll never really feel forced to do it anyway. But I don't know. It would be cool to have like powerful prayers that you do have use for.
Yeah, like a run to south pillar prayer.
Yeah, that's a great example. Just put on
Oh,
guardian,
crap.
put on a bulwark, and just run, and you're good. Like you're
Everything's hitting me. Run.
yeah, seriously. And this is another idea. You've probably heard me because you lurk in my stream, but like the Perry prayer. Perry. So
I haven't heard you talk about it. I
so
don't think.
this has not worked out, but it's something like a recoil prayer. But there is a downside. The parry
Okay.
prayer only works if it's on for 1 tick.
Oh,
So
you
it takes
like
skill.
flick it.
Yep. So and if you miss it, like if you mistime it or something, then you get like, you know, some or it could even be something where like parry, you turn it on when something attacks you, and it would have to be melee based. It can't be range, can't be magic. Magic. It would be if something is attacking you with a melee attack, you flick on parry when it attacks you. Like, so you have to anticipate it. You have to have that skill. Has to be on for one tick, and it's whatever it hits, it would deal like 25 damage back to it. So it's almost like an additional attack in a sense, and you don't lose your attack cycle, or maybe you even do. This is something I'm considering. Like, what if, you know, you attack on your normal 4-tick cycle, the very next attack is when next attacks. So so that parry acts as you attack, and then it resets your 4-tick cycle again, and so now you're on a different cycle. But that parry only did, you know, well, I'm trying to think like how it would work, because there's so much to talk about with an idea like this, because it would be game breaking, not game breaking, just game changing. Like you would use it in so many situations where it would like revolutionize how you fight certain fights, because you want to be using parry as much as you can.
So I think that turning this on for more than 1 tick should be like a pretty severe punishment then, if it's like what you're explaining it as.
It would like if you turn it on beyond what you did, and this would have to almost be like when you pray parry, the damage doesn't hit until like a tick after, just so it's fully registered that you kept that prayer on for just that 1 tick.
And then if it's on for like more than 1 tick, you start taking like 5 damage every tick. Bam, bam.
Potentially, or the parry reverses. So whatever you were just about to hit on the other person, it just deals it to you.
Ouch.
But these parries are not massive damage. They're just like, you know, 25% of what that guy would have hit or something like that.
I thought you meant 25 damage for a second.
No. 25% of, and again, I'm pulling numbers out of thin air. Like I have no idea what the balancing would be.
So if you were going to hit a 50, it'd be like a 13 or something.
Yeah, what the monster would have hit you.
Oh, so if it was going to hit you a 30, it would have been like an 8.
Yeah, just something where like
okay.
If you're and now that I'm thinking about it, I think I said initially like it would reset your attack cycle. I actually don't think that would be as engaging or fun. I think it would actually just be annoying.
No. No.
So keep
Should.
your normal thing, but pray parry whenever it attacks you. And if you've just had it on for one tick and you successfully did it, that damage goes back to your opponent. And maybe every time you pray parry as well, it is guaranteed prayer point loss. So it's not something you could just flick endlessly. It like you activating it, boom, drain 5 prayer, or whatever it is. So I don't know. I just there are cool things that could be added. Again, I don't know how the hell this would feel. Maybe it would feel like shit.
It
And we
might.
yeah, like we really don't know. Yeah,
I think it's easier to feel like shit than it would be to feel good
yeah.
until
But
you like really get it down, I think.
exactly. I don't know. There's something like you've killed a lot of muspa, I'm assuming.
Like 600 or 700.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a respectable
A
amount.
decent amount.
That smite phase is enjoyable. It's like
Yeah, that is good actually. I like the smite phase.
it feels natural. It feels good to just flick to something else, and that is exactly what like judgment would be and parry, like these.
And it feels like rewarding enough to be like definitely worth doing.
Exactly, but it's not annoying like I don't know. Like what I could see would be annoying is I don't know. They're almost similar in a sense, like of you doing how people kill Olm and then they switch on like their tank gear whenever they're about to take a hit. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
shield
yeah.
flicking or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
like
The sweaty stuff.
yeah, there already is that in the game, but this would just be a prayer form, which I actually think just feels better.
Yeah, it feels a little more natural to pray something.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of situations where it would be good, you're already doing so much anyway.
hmm And if it
Like
was
next, yeah,
if it was guaranteed prayer reduction, something where just parry is just a different form of prayer where as soon as you activate it, boom, drop 5 prayer points. Similar to like summoning thralls. It's just guaranteed you're going to lose that prayer. Then you're not going to feel that obligation to use it everywhere. You will
yeah,
use it in the places where you just need to maximize DPS quickly.
yeah. I probably wouldn't use it.
Yeah. There would only be very certain. I mean, it would just be cool to have that luxury because some of the time you're in a PVM situation where you just have so much extra prayer and you don't have much
True. Yeah,
food.
true.
And so this would be just a nice usage of that. Like, okay, I'm going to try this out,
Yeah.
get some extra kills in.
Sweat a little bit.
And it would
Kills per
also,
hour too. Yeah.
and it would also be a great, like, this is exactly what that judgment thing or just finishing off a boss would be. Like, when you can't hit that final 1 damage, just wait for the boss to parry
Attack
the
you
boss.
and
Yeah.
recoil it. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things they could do for sure.
Yeah.
But I
All
feel
of this
like
stuff would need to go through betas.
I feel like the gatekeepers are being gatekept from having cool stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's good to have gatekeepers as long as they're rational. But
Yeah,
oftentimes they're not.
facts.
Yeah. What do you think about left? I'm gonna bring it up because you're just talking about gatekeepers. What do you think about left click construction?
Dude, that'd be great.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? That's what I think.
Yeah, skilling. I'm not really a skiller. Like I said, I AFK most of my activities, so I'm not like a high intensity skilling kind of person.
hmm
But when I was doing construction, oh my God, my wrist hurt so bad.
Dude,
That was like one of the last skills I needed, of course, because it was like, oh, I actually have to like sit here and do this. Like only this. I can't do anything else on the side. Cannot multitask. It's just like I gotta sit here and do this for 10 hours straight.
it just feels so archaic with how the game has like evolved. Normal
Yeah.
construction is like, God, this just feels horrible.
Remove, build, build.
But it's a right clicking and there's like 7 fucking options. You have to like precisely, it's just like, God damn it. And then if you want to make it nicer, you have to fucking manipulate your whole client to make it perfectly like, you have
Yeah.
to line your angles up, make little markers and shit. Like, God damn it, just fix this shit.
I saw that DK Ho video where he was doing like mahogany benches.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even if I move my screen 1 pixel, this would like ruin everything.
Exactly. And the gatekeep argument is like, no, this is what makes it fun. Like it's fun that it's like this. I
It's
mean,
fun because I have to put in the effort to like set it up
yeah.
this way so that it then becomes easier
And
instead
this,
of just like making it easier.
I'm gonna play the mind reading play where you pretend like you know what another person thinks, but I really do think a lot of the reason there's some gatekeeping, again, complete mind reading. I'm not claiming this is what they think, but it seems to be that a lot of high level skillers like that things are just kind of annoying and tedious, and something where like not everyone can do it from the get go, because it means like their achievements are like held in higher regard, because in order to do this successfully, like you need to know all the perfect strats, all the plugins, all the everything to just do this. And if that gets taken away and things become more standardized, then it's like, well, now, figuring out all these little things to optimize your gameplay is now out the window. And so my achievement doesn't feel as,
Yeah.
good. Again, just mind reading. But I mean, I could see that. I don't think that's too much of a stretch. And I think there is a tiny bit of value in that. But
Yeah. I also think there's just people that like to suffer.
yeah, there is. I mean, clearly,
Yeah. I
a lot
mean,
of
I guess
masochists in
that's
this
all of
game.
us
Yeah.
to some extent, though. Like we're all playing RuneScape.
Yeah. Left click con would be good.
Left click con. Dude, have you done Mahogany Homes?
Yeah. What do you think?
It's not bad.
It's pretty chill if you
I like it. I
if
like it.
if if you get into like a routine with it. Initially, it's a pain in the ass because just like learning anything new, it's like, how, like, am I doing this optimally? That's what goes through my mind when I was first doing it. It's like there's so many little things you can optimize with Mahogany Homes.
Yeah,
And
it is nice just to kind of like move around the world too, doing that skill
mm-hmm.
instead of just like being in your house, like hammering away at the same table for hours.
Yep.
But at the same time, like the XP per hour is so bad compared to actual construction.
It is, but it's
It's
it's like
like,
the Giants Foundry version of just
yeah, it's like, do I want to do this for 5 hours or do I want to do this for 1 hour?
yeah.
Ah,
We're definitely touching on a lot of these project rebalances. So I guess we'll kind of like finish it up a little bit. What are your thoughts on Scythe, the Elder Maul, and yeah, that's pretty much what I mean, there's other stuff obviously to talk about, but it's like specifically Scythe.
yeah,
They're so basically they're proposing that it gets a
15,
15
right?
additional
Yeah.
slash extra. And correct me if I'm wrong. Does that mean every slash now is that like multiplicative in a sense? Like that 15 is not just 15. It almost feels like 45 kind of, because you're
What's
getting 3 slashes.
15 for each hit splat, I guess.
Hmm.
So I think each hit splat rolls independently
Okay. Well, they did
against the
say,
same defense roll, though.
yeah, they said it's about 7% better on really high defense stuff
Okay.
like Grardor. So that's substantial.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I don't think 15 is gonna like make a whole world of difference. And I do think that they shouldn't just give it like straight up like 15. I think maybe they should consider adding like that only if you have the kits on it. Add a little bit more
Really?
incentive. Yeah, that's my hot take.
That is kind of hot, because that's most
I know
cosmetics don't
that
do that.
I know they're cosmetics, but I think that they could actually be an upgrade. And then maybe they could push it even a little more with what they're proposing. Because the scythe right now is just it's not very useful. I mean, I use it in basically Grotesque Guardians and Theater of Blood. That's it. And I guess I could use it in CMs if I wanted to sweat, but I don't, you know?
I think it's actually got a lot. I mean, it definitely has a lot of places where you use it. And the thing about a scythe is every gear upgrade you get, like it's making it more
Yeah,
powerful
much
than a
better. Yeah.
single-handed weapon would get. So I'm looking like
True.
in the future, I don't
Ooh.
Thing is,
No, you're
like,
right.
and I'm in the camp that's unpopular camp that I don't even think a scythe needs a buff. I just like and the reason I say that is because I'm not only looking at Osmupton's Fang and Scythe, which seems to be what a lot of people pigeonhole themselves into. Is like this whole game revolves around Scythe and Fang now. So
Yeah.
Scythe needs to be way better than a Fang. And what about Rapier? What about Mace? What about if you're just gonna,
Yeah, like I said,
yeah,
those weapons should definitely be better.
exactly.
I could go either way on whether the scythe should be buffed or not, honestly. Because, I mean, we could just add something in the future. I mean, we just did add an item that does make scythe significantly better, which was the Bellator ring,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't really get talked about at all. It's actually, I believe it's best in slot to take into Tob now,
Yeah, I
and it makes scythe actually a little bit better.
I fucking love the Bellator ring. I
Ah,
don't even
dude.
have it yet, but like I love that when they were first proposing that, it was garbage. Like the stats they
Yeah,
proposed
I
initially,
remember.
wasn't it like 8 slash and 4 strength or something? It's just like, eh?
Yeah.
Like what the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing? This is horrible.
Like you actually need to make something that's best in slot
Yeah,
somewhere, you know.
I
And
love that
I think they nailed it, honestly.
they did.
Um, but yeah, I still don't have that thing. Not even close. Whisper is the only DT2 boss I really haven't touched because I got the Saren's staff or whatever in 21 KC.
Mm,
So at that point, I was just like, oh, okay, gotta go finish the axe now.
yep.
And then like 1100 Leviathan deep now, and I'm kind of like over it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's not fun.
no, it's not.
Um,
But you know, the chamber's quality of life got me remotivated to go do that instead. So
yeah,
that's what we're working on.
cool. Yeah, good luck. You got to get that top, man. God damn it.
It's uh, it's it's pretty depressing.
So, I personally think that in the next year or two, they're definitely going
Mhm.
to come out with the tyrannical and treasonous ring variants of the Bellator.
Ooh,
That's what I'm hoping. Some upgrade that gives
that
both of those the 20 and 6.
okay. That could help out the one-handed weapons a little bit too,
It,
right?
it, it definitely will. Like that will um obviously that's going to be a huge thing to the Fang, but the Fang is already so accurate that it's like you would probably still use Ultor. But
Accuracy doesn't really matter with the Fang now.
exactly. But with the
Yeah.
Rapier, if you're getting an additional 20 stab,
And
you're
it's 4 tick versus the 5 tick Fang.
exactly that thing. Like, I feel like it'll be a really good ring to introduce, and especially the tyrannical version. Like right now,
Well,
just for those listening, if you're unaware, like the tyrannical ring right now is +8 crush if it's imbue. Do you still imbue rings? Yeah, you do, right?
yeah,
I can't even fucking remember. So +8, no strength.
no
The
strength.
the new version will be 20 crush, 6 strength.
Oof,
Like
that'd be so nice at Nightmare.
that'd be so fun to use with a mace. Like a mace and ink would feel so good.
Yeah. The Scythe even. Do you use Scythe on Crush at Nightmare, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty good. No,
it would.
I
It
would
would.
like that ring. Yeah.
It would. Let's see. That's I don't know. I'm almost thinking like might be a hot take, and I'm not even actually going to like double down on this in any way because
Okay.
I could hear any argument that would persuade me that it's a bad idea. But I wouldn't be against Scythe getting the crush accuracy almost entirely removed. So you're never using crush with a Scythe. So Scythe really
Ooh.
maintains that strong niche of super powerful slash, but the Soul Reaper axe gets a huge crush bonus.
Ooh, I like it.
So now you have the competing mace and you have the Soul Reaper axe. It depends on the scenario, but
Ooh,
now when you go to Nightmare, you're rocking full ink, the new Tyrannical ring, and a Soul Reaper axe. That's hella good crush. That'd be fun.
that would actually be really good. And then that would also make Fasani's pretty interesting because it would make your defense, or no, not your defense, your HP like just low enough to be one hit by a melee attack.
Yep. Thing is, you can always eat up. That's what's kind of well.
Eh,
dude, they have to do something with the Soul Reaper Axe special as well, because God, like every phase you have to build that thing up again. Like,
It's so bad. And then, dude, I was watching Paulie NFS. You know him?
yeah.
He
He's
was like
always in my
using
stream.
it. He was using it in Tob, and I'm just watching him. Like he's like, "Oh, I can't do this because if I don't hit something like
Yeah.
within a few ticks, then I lose charges." And I'm like, "Dude, that's so garbage to use." Then
It's literally an anxiety inducing weapon. Like the whole time you're just constantly thinking, okay, don't switch weapons, don't switch weapons. And then the other thing is, okay, you keep hitting, keep hitting. Then the other thing is, okay, don't
yeah.
forget to use the specs like at the end so you heal the 40 back. Like, God.
And so if you switch weapons, it's done. Like you start over, right?
Yeah, you just instantly start over. It's just
Oh my
fucking stupid.
gosh. So you have to like spec on the last
Yeah.
hit.
And
Yeah.
there's probably a Runelight plugin, but you don't even know what your normal spec is at. I don't think. I don't think there's a way to know unless there's special attack. But no, I don't know. I
No,
don't
I
think.
don't think there is a way.
Yeah, there's
I
probably a
haven't seen
Runelight
it.
setting, but
Yeah. Ah, that's so garbage though. Like
yeah,
especially on Verzik, like, oh, yellow spawned. I forgot to use my spec. Too bad. Lost 40 HP.
it's so dumb. It's like even at Vardorvis where it's really easy to just maintain somewhat concentration, and it's
Uh-huh.
just it's a short enough fight that you're just do it. And there are still so many times where I'll just forget, or I'll just pull my scythe out early, or just try to ancient godsword spec. Just like, God damn it! Like rip 40 plus my DPS loss.
Jeez. So you would spec and switch to scythe at the end of the kill,
Yep.
basically?
It was just like
Okay.
at the beginning of every kill, even if I was like almost full HP, I would start with an ancient godsword spec and then instantly
Oh,
switch to axe because you get one axe hit, which negates 8 HP, and then Vardorvis usually hits you like a 5 to like a 10. And then that 25 heal procs, and then now you're
okay.
only going to be reducing 32 HP long term from like full. And then yeah, I would release at around 15% and then finish off with scythe. That seems to be pretty good
Well, sounds like I'm going back to Nex for
for
the Ancient God Sword.
yeah, dude, ancient gods. That was another thing they were going to nerf.
Really?
Yeah, they said it right here. It says ancient godsword current healing from special attack elongates, outlasts fights, creates too
Oh,
big
they're
an HP delta when prayed
bringing
against critical.
PvP into it. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. That's always awkward when
I
like
know. God damn it.
the PvPers are saying this is busted, but
Yeah.
everybody else is happy.
I mean, it's the same thing with the Soul Reaper Axe. Like
Yeah.
there are reasonable things to change when you're only looking at the PVM side, but then you see in a PvP scenario, if you don't get rid of those 5 charges and you're just fucking you have them saved up later, it's like that Soul Reaper Axe can actually go pretty crazy in
Ooh,
some PvP
yeah.
situations.
Dude, did you see the video of Eli like using it before they fixed it?
No, was this a while ago?
Bro.
What happened?
Yeah, he bought like the first Soul Reaper axe in the game, right?
Mhm.
And they messed up the calculations so bad that he was like hitting 300s.
What the fuck? Are you
Yeah.
serious?
In the actual game, he was like procking Maiden like in one hit, like once he got charged up, like by himself. And like
Bruh.
one downing bloat, like he
But
took it to Bounty Hunter and he was just bopping people.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, did he do it in PvP? God
Yeah.
damn.
And then he was like, "No, we got to stop. We can't do this anymore."
You're gonna
He
get
killed like
banned.
two. He killed like two people, and he was like, "Nope, we can't do this."
Yep. Oh, Jesus, dude.
That was the funniest thing I've seen, like probably this whole year. It's just him running around hitting 300s with it.
It's so hot. Like I understand if you find a game breaking bug, it's fun. Like you just want to do it. You just want to like test it. You just want to go
Yeah.
around and if it's affecting other people, that's one thing. But I mean seriously, like remember day one Leagues 4 where they do like I was watching all the streams and like some guy that wasn't streaming did 1,000 master caskets just because of that glitch that just kept repeating them.
It's just one step.
I'm like, no. It wasn't. It was just literally he opens one master and it just kept giving him another one. So
What?
he just spam him. Yeah,
Oh my
it was glitch. And so like I was in Bodhi stream and like he could have abused that as well. But then obviously you got like 15,000 people that are like, okay, like
Yeah, that's sketch.
so it got patched. But Yeah, when Bodhi checked the high scores, like, because he was one of the first people to get that clue relic, and then he checked the high scores, and there's one guy with 1,000 masters done, and I'm like, and who knows how many more potentially if he had like just hadn't logged out, you know? But like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm sorry if that were me, and there was a way to just spam master caskets. I'm
Dude,
risking
you'd be
I'm
all
risking
over
getting
it.
my league's account banned. Like just like
Yeah.
hopefully
No.
hopefully they would be like reasonable enough to not if it was on my like normal iron, like, oh god, like please don't actually ban like my actual account. But just perm me from leagues because I want to enjoy this moment where I can just fucking spam masters. Like that sounds so fun.
Opening 1,000 masters is way more fun than anything else you could possibly do in
I
leagues.
know, dude. Like, dude, you just gotta turn off mimics. Just like, nah, I'm just fucking spamming these right
Yeah.
now. Like,
I'll get third age eventually. It's fine.
yeah,
We don't need mimics.
God, like that must have been the most dopamine inducing shit ever.
Oh, I'm
Just
jealous.
I know. It's just everything's dropping to the floor. Just you just seen third age, just gilded, all this shit.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't even buy that Soul Reaper like with the intention of like doing that. He was just testing it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh?
Happens. I
They
mean, it
didn't even
happens a
send him a
lot
check.
nowadays.
Yeah,
Things
they
are.
didn't even send him a check for QA.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, we should really at this point don't ban us for bug abuse. Fucking pay us.
Yeah, right?
No.
We found it. We found it. Off. Off, I'm team.
Oh my god. So let's see. That was pretty much it for rebalance.
Yeah. I mean, main things just like the Fang and the Occult Necklace. Those are the two that are really out of whack right now.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about what do you think? I'm hearing your Google Doc. Should we talk about like the wilderness rework, do you think?
Ooh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on wilderness rework in general and just everything
I
about it?
really, I really enjoyed it. Um, so prior to that, I did you buy protection at Revs back in the day?
It was just an entirely different scenario when I did it because I started Revs the week that Rev weapons initially came out. So this was
Oh,
July of 2018.
okay.
This is like the early there. You did not see Ironmen in the caves. It was just not a thing. You just didn't see. You would just see one, and they're just getting they're getting no kills because you just got a bunch of people spamming, and if one
Yeah.
person hits your Rev, you're fucked. And
That was so annoying back in the day.
yeah, it was bad. And so like I spent 3 months from the get-go there. And after the first month, I met some Ironmen and we were like, hey, like what can we do to make this experience a little bit more enjoyable? And then, you get some connections and you start like a little friends chat and you got like, 5 or 6 irons with some mains. And you're like, okay, let's try to protect each other. And then that kind of built up. And then some guy from Rot was like, okay, like we can kind of settle something where we can, have some sort of team. But for the first 3 months, there was no real protection. There was no real like organization at all. It was just like fucking
Um,
free for all. And I never paid a dime because I was just part of like the founders of it. And it was just like, and then I got my weapons, then I dipped. And then, several months later, now all of a sudden people are having to pay like 200 mil for
yeah.
2 weeks
That
or
was
some
me.
shit.
Yeah, I tried it out when the weapons first came out, and I was like, no, this sucks because I couldn't get kills. It was so crowded.
It was bad.
Um,
Yeah.
and then when I heard that, I think it was like on Twitter and Nasty posted like, hey, we're doing this service now. And I was like, oh, okay, let me try this out. So, and the funny thing is, like, right when that happened was like when my wife moved in with me. Like, she was still my girlfriend.
She's like seeing that your true character. God damn it.
She got exposed to RuneScape for sure. Because it was 2 weeks at a time, and like if there was an open spot, you had to go, and then
I
you
know
you
you
didn't
had to. You
you
had to.
didn't want to lose your place in line because you had to like literally wait for an hour if you wanted to like get a spot, right? Because they
God.
like it's like what airplanes do, like they they book too many seats and then they have to like have people skip their flight. Like it was that situation. So it's like if you got in on a spot, you had to stay there like for the whole night.
God, did your wife ever confront you about this? Like, what the fuck? She must be so chill if she just like was like, oh, this is fine, this is
It was
normal.
like walking on eggshells every day.
dude, like just, I mean, for those that don't understand how crazy this was, I mean, when after about a month and a half, when things kind of started to, I mean, even from the get go. I understood there was there are certain hours at Revs where you can get the maximum amount of kills.
Yep.
So even before protection, like I became such a degenerate. Like I am not kidding. The game, I ignored everything in the game. I didn't do any herb runs. I didn't do anything. It was just log in and fucking milk as much revs as possible. Just go in there and sweat. Just sweat. And then log out, wake
Yep.
up in the middle of the fucking night, sweat. Like just, it was just horrible. Like just, but it was addicting as hell. Like it just,
Yeah.
you needed to do it. And they were called money ghosts for a reason. Just,
Yeah.
especially when
Oh, dude, this was before the table got nerfed. So they
yep.
were, oh my God. Oh, it was
See,
so nice.
the first 2.5 months, the first 2 months were when nobody knew, except for Rot because of Jed. Nobody knew that Scold mechanics gave you better drop rates.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Ash tweet came out. And oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, it just changed everything. There was a day, I kid you not, like a 6-hour session of just doing revs where I got like 3 relics and some other shit. Like I literally made like 68 mil or something just in statues. It's just like, bruh,
Yeah.
what the fuck is it going? Like this is so private servery. It's so bad.
I got 3 relics within like 2 hours one time.
Yeah. So what
So,
are your thoughts on like just how everything has kind of changed, gone down?
well, I kind of wanted to finish my story because
Oh
it's
yeah,
pretty
go for
good.
it. I completely interrupted and just
No, you're good. You're good. So, yeah, I did the 2 weeks of protection. So, for those of you who don't know, it was like a service where they would basically like protect you. And you would just be in like your one little spot killing like 2 or 3 different revenants. And then there would be like opponents coming in, like opposing clans of Rot trying to come in and like ruin their whole service. So you'd be getting crashed by people, you'd be getting maced, and like you'd have to like abide by certain rules so that you didn't like lose your +1. Like you'd have to camp 40 HP and pray range, or you'd have to do certain things, and you'd just be like sweating it out for hours on end for 2 weeks straight when you bought this service, right? Because 200 mil back then was actually kind of a lot.
you get a lot done with the 2 weeks though if you were to
Oh
truly
yeah.
sesh.
I mean, even mains and like gold farmers were doing it because it was definitely worth it. But at the end of the first 2 weeks, I was left with no rev weapons and no amulets of avarice. And like I said, my wife, this was like her first exposure to like what this game was. So I had to buy another 2 weeks because
You're already like maybe
I'm already
like,
this far.
yeah,
Like I
you
gotta keep going.
just imagine like just hold off with the divorce papers. Hold off.
No, we weren't married yet. So,
Okay. That's funny as fuck
but
though.
yeah, I did like 2 more weeks, same thing. Like she was pretty upset by the end of it, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, we got through it.
That's good.
And then I ended up with 4 amulets of avarice and no rev weapons and 19,000 scold rev kills.
God, that's tilting.
So that's the pre-story to this
So
whole subject.
you wrapped out like you didn't continue after that. You're just like fuck it.
No,
I'm just
like
like this is
I
stupid.
couldn't. Like
You're like
I
about to
gotta.
pay another 2 weeks, and your wife's like staring at
I
you.
was like thinking it was a hard decision, but I chose her over getting a crossbow. Okay.
That is awesome. That's so funny.
Uh,
Like nobody really understands, but if you understand, you understand. Like you just
dude.
So
That was
funny.
such an interesting time because it was so early on in like our like the serious part of our relationship. You know, we had been like talking and stuff, but
God.
we just started living together when that happened. Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, that was a good call to not continue that, especially if you had already gone
Yeah.
so dry. What
It
would have
was
been
a month of doing that every day.
uh yeah. Did you wake up in the middle of the night and shit and do that?
Well, I would start at like maybe 7 o'clock, and like we would eat dinner, and I'd be like, okay, I gotta go shoot ghosts, and then I'd be on until like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Did you have to like fucking participate in the, getting in voice with the boys and, massing worlds when they get
Yeah,
taken over? God. You just
dude,
have to.
I tried to avoid that
I know.
as much as I could. And the funny thing was, like, they told us to bank once because someone was attacking us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went to go do like a farm run or something. And then when they were like, "Hey, we're gonna come and fight them, so gear up," I was like, "Okay." I geared up, and then I ended up dying at some point. And then, like 10 minutes later, one of the guys in Rot sends me a screenshot, like, "What the fuck is this?" And he shows me a screenshot of like 16,000 law runes, 16,000 dust runes, 16,000 whatever other rune there was, because I brought my rune pouch with
Oh
me.
no. Oh my God.
He's like, "What the fuck? You gave him like 4 mil for
That's
nothing."
fucking funny.
Yeah,
Have
so
you
I
ever
wasn't allowed to go out on those outings anymore, luckily.
Oh, but perfect.
Yeah, it was great.
That's funny. Have you ever had, by the way, like a devastating mistake in this game on your Iron Man where like I mean,
Ooh.
that doesn't sound devastating at all, just losing some runes, but like you're
At the time, it was kind of not good, but I got through it. I have teleported on accident. I had my portal nexus set to like Gorok Telly because I was training prayer, I think.
hmm
And I went in there in a PvP world with like all my top gear. So I've done that before, but
what
luckily nobody was there.
that fucking panic though.
So I
The
just like
sheer panic.
I panic logged so fast. It was probably like less than one game tick. I got to the logout.
And then it's like and
I
then it's
saw
like
that PvP skull above my head and I was like, nope.
God damn it, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying.
And that's when I had like 2 pieces of Torva, I think.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Like you,
imagine.
you think of like the worst, I think the closest I've ever come to losing something. Like I've gotten close occasionally of leaving something at a gravestone. Like I'll leaving a lot
Mm,
at a
yeah.
gravestone and then just going about my day without knowing. Luckily, I've never done anything extremely dangerous while shit was in my gravestone, but I definitely have like spent a significant amount of time with valuable things in my gravestone. I think TOA is the place that it happens most often
Yeah.
because I will die to TOA and I'm just like I'm fucking logging out, and then I'll just go do something else the next day or something. And
Oh no. No, that's bad.
yeah, I've been. But the thing is, you're keeping your most. Wait, do you? I'm trying to think if you can keep your most valuable. Everything
You
is
keep
goes in
three.
there.
You keep 3 items.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Um, there has been like 2 other close calls though that I can recall. One was Hydra when it first released.
Did you run in with
I
barefoot?
think you know where this is going.
I don't.
But you had to wear like the boots of stone to
Mm-hmm.
protect yourself from that ground.
Yep.
And I didn't have a lot of gear at the time though, but I was. No, I wasn't a hardcore anymore because I had already died. But yeah, I ran back in there. What weapon was I even using? I think I had a Dragon Hunter crossbow or something. But yeah, I died and like almost lost full armadillo and like maybe pegs or something.
So
Some
how did you
other.
get out? Did you just panic, Telly, when you started realizing you're taking a shit ton of
I
damage?
made it back to like where you're not getting burnt with like 9 HP or something like that.
Oh my god! So you didn't have any tellies or anything. You're just, or did
Like
you not think about it? Because you probably had the
I
blessing.
well, I was going and I thought I would make it to the chest because I was only taking like 4 damage at a
Okay.
time.
Oh
But
my
then I
god.
got to the chest and realized like I can't unlock it when I'm constantly being hit. So
Dude, there
yeah,
were there were quite a few people that died
there were so
that
many
day
people
one.
that lost items to that.
like a
But
lot.
yeah,
Yeah, there was one guy that lost like 400, 500 mil, like full max, like. But I mean, obviously you don't lose your T-bow because
yeah,
that's kept. But like full armor,
still.
full everything, like
Oh, I know someone that lost like 200,000 amethyst arrows.
God damn it, dude. Jagex is just sitting there laughing their
Just
asses
like,
off.
oh my god, so evil. But yeah, when you get to that chest, you think you're gonna make it, and then you realize you can't unlock it when you're getting taking constant damage. So I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna make it. So I had to run back, and I barely made it. And then another one was Nex, because when you die, your stuff goes in that chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I made the mistake of like entering the room with no ancient item on. Like I was kind of just like absent-mindedly going to Nex again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I entered that room, and sure enough, like 20 monsters jump on me. And
The
I,
one time where the whole place is clear is when you're,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I like went back through the door quickly, and I took like 70 damage or something with all my
Jesus
stuff in the chest.
Christ.
Yeah. And that would have been a really bad one because that was like literally max range and max melee.
Jesus. That'd be so bad. I've never had the only close calls I've had is that wilderness clip where I was actually killing Nex. I got an elite clue and I was on that high risk. Fuck being on high risk worlds. God,
Dude, it's the best world though.
it's just the worst. It's just not worth it. And
Yeah.
so I just instantly did my elite, pulled the lever, instantly just a guy sitting there TB'd. And I had the only thing I was gonna lose was like a blowpipe loaded with I'm pretty sure my dragon darts and
Oh,
like
I think I
all my dragon darts, my claw or I don't think I had claws, but I had an eternal glory blowpipe and some other shit. But like
think
oh,
I
and
saw that clip.
my
You
my
barely made it,
my
right?
yeah, my master scroll book. But the master scroll book, I can't remember fully at the time if I was already being safe about that, where I don't have them all inserted. Because at this point I have so
Mm.
many scrolls that I just shove them all into my bank because I have like over 1,000 of like all of them.
And you just put like 50 at a time or something.
Yeah, yeah, just in
Yeah.
case. But it's also one
Okay.
of those things where like if you're I'm trying to think because I'm pretty sure the Master Scroll book has this stupid dialogue option. Like you think if you're ever in that scenario, like oh I'll just drop my Master Scroll book and then just go pick it up later after I've died because it's untradeable when it's
Hmm.
loaded. But no, you have to go through two separate dialogue options and confirm that you want to drop it.
Jeez.
So hella dangerous. But yeah, I almost died. Called out my stream. I was like, get the fuck out here, boys. And like three of my stream people came out butt naked with like a fucking crystal bow.
Started
And
boxing.
no, I couldn't like well, some guy wanted to box me, said box me, but I was just panicking, so I just ran and I just amazing footwork and some guy tagged on the last guy and I was able to get that log out and I had like I don't even know, like 30 HP left, no food, no anything.
My
And
gosh.
I'm just thinking, like, this wouldn't have been that bad. It would have set me back, maybe like 50 hours or something, just internal glory and all this other shit. But like, when I think now, because I recently had Frey on the Sae Bae cast,
Hmm.
and he was hacked, and he had a pimped out Ironman. I mean, like on
Yeah.
your level,
Yeah.
and all gone,
Ugh,
everything.
dude.
And it's
I
like,
can't imagine losing it all now.
yeah, and like it makes total sense. Like, why would you want to continue? Like,
No, I
you
would do
can't you
something else.
you can't you can't continue like that. It's just some people have pulled it off. Travis 42.
Travis, yeah. I know exactly. Yeah.
That
Didn't
dude's
he like drop it all to his main or something?
yeah. We don't talk about what exactly happened. We
He
don't
wasn't
talk
even
about
hacked,
that.
but he wasn't even hacked. So like,
I know.
I
No, for him it was he was at the point in his life where he realized he's playing a lot of RuneScape. And
yeah,
he's like, I need to be done with this. So drop everything over to the main and, keep it on your main, quote
yeah,
unquote. And
sure,
yeah.
keep
And
it on
so,
your main.
so then, you give it a year, give it however long it took. And you realize, oh, I realize I actually, that late night thought where I thought I was thinking clearly of like, let's just fucking drop over everything because I'm never going to play
Yeah,
this again. Like, I'm not enjoying it in this very moment. So why not just fucking drop it and my life will magically change and I'll just become very productive and stuff. But no, that's not what happens. And
yeah.
so give it Give it a year or so, and the cravings just call you. Just RuneScape,
Hmm.
RuneScape, RuneScape.
Dude, trust me, I've been playing this game for 18 years. I've never stopped. So
Yeah. Have
I
you ever
get
had a
it.
burnout? Like a
A
significant?
couple, like EOC, when EOC was released, I stopped for maybe 2 months. And then I was like, maybe I'll come back and try it. And then there was like some fun things you could do, like Darox was completely busted. You can go and kill Bandos in 8 seconds, so that was kind of fun.
Hmm.
And then I started gambling.
Let's talk about that because that's definitely a point. Let's
Uh,
hear all about that.
yeah. I
No,
mean, we'll
because
come back. We'll come back to the wilderness. That's a good topic.
yeah,
But
let's preface this as well that like gambling in RuneScape, it's gotten a lot better obviously with the dual arena removed and things, but like
yeah,
when you're in your adolescence and then you're going through like early adulthood, like you can get sucked into that
dude,
shit really fucking easily.
it was so bad.
So let's
So
hear it.
this had to have been. I mean, when was EOC released? Like '09. So this had to be like 2010. So I'm like still what 16 years old. 16 years old, and I'm like, oh, I want to make money. I'm not very good at killing bosses. I need a way to make money. So obviously, like, I want to gamble. And at first, it started with me just like throwing some extra money at like those hosting flower game people, right?
Hmm.
But then I quickly realized I'm a smart guy, you know. So I realized, hey, this is the odds are against me if I am the one betting with them. So why don't I make people bet with me and then I get the odds, I win the money. So that's basically what I did is extorted noobs for I would say a better half of 2 years as like a 16-year-old.
How
So
much? Where did you get? Like, how did you start? Like, did you have, or did you already have GP? Like, I feel
I
like you had
had
to.
like I had like a good amount of stuff. Like I had Torva and like some other
What
gear.
was your bank worth at the time? Do you think when you started?
I don't remember the values of things, but it had to be in the realm of in like if I were to put it OSRS GP, it would have probably been like in the 500 mil to like 800 mil range, somewhere
Okay.
in there. But, party hats at the time, a blue party hat was like 2.5 to 3 bill, I think. So that was like something I really wanted.
Hmm.
That's like a childhood dream. And this was maybe like, 5 years after I had started playing. So I was like, oh man, it's time to start like actually going for this thing I've always wanted. So that money craving came on from that. And then I was just realizing like, oh crap, I need to like start hosting like gambling. Like that's the only way I'm gonna be able to make that much money. And then so basically there was like clan leaders that you would have to like pay money to like be in their clan to like host gambling. So I like paid 200 mil or something to buy into it to like play with flowers hot and cold.
Hmm.
So I did that. Man, I was in high school, so that pretty much consumed my life for like 2 years. Like I would literally get home and I would start gambling. I would just be like hosting and I would be like typing in hot cold times two and my username like for hours. I would just be typing that over and over and over and over again. And like I would get people, gambling with me. I was making tons of money from it. Um, and eventually I got up to like a purple party hat. So I was like, oh, I finally, have what I wanted. But obviously, I was human, so I wanted more. I wanted a blue party hat. I wanted the blue one,
Blue
the
one's most
best one.
expensive.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it always was. So instead of, continuing, I was just like, well, this party hat is worth about half of what a blue one is. So if I just gamble this and I win, I'll have a blue one.
Oh
And
no.
I lost. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Then what
So
happened?
that
Because you
that
said
was
this
the
six.
end of the gambling arc. So
Really? They
yeah,
just ended.
yeah, that was it.
It feels like it doesn't
I
end
was
that way.
I was devastated for like weeks though. I didn't play the game. So that was like another one of my breaks.
So let me just get this straight. Okay, so with especially when you're young, you
Hmm.
you know, you don't really see the harm in certain activities. It's all about like just like you just don't have much experience with things, and so you get into gambling, you see all the highs, like all the great highs and all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
benefits, and you don't. And the evil of gambling and what I've seen, and especially like people I've seen in real life, people I know in real life that have been affected by it, it's like you become a shitty person.
Yeah.
Like it's just like almost inevitable.
Yeah, and I was legitimately addicted to it. Like I could not do anything except for do that. Like couldn't
Man.
even think about playing other parts of the game. Like I couldn't even think about going and killing a boss. That wasn't even in my brain at the time. It's like RuneScape is only this. It's only like a gambling game now, right?
God. Was there ever like a moment where like were there moments where in that span of time you just wanted to stop but you like just couldn't? Like you realize
Um,
like this fucking sucks? Or was it really just
I
at the end that was when it
There
all
was
came?
times where I was like really hating it just because I like, as a host, you need other players to come bet on you, and there was days where like nobody would come, so I would just be sitting there typing away hot cold times two, like an idiot, and that would be like 8 hours of my life gone. So that kind of thing was shitty, but
Do you have any like extreme losses before that massive loss at the end?
there were some pretty big ones. Like I got to a point where I was taking like multiple bets on some days. So like multiple players would come and bet,
Mm,
especially if you were on like a hot streak. So if you planted like seven hot colored flowers in a row, like people would try and like, snipe that streak by betting cold.
mm-hmm.
So I'd get like a bunch of people just like doubling down, you know. You know how it goes. Like you bet 5 mil at first and then 10 mil and then 20 mil, and eventually if you win you profit 5 mil.
Yeah, yeah.
So that happened, and I planted a white flower, which was like the person who bet wins like triple their bet or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that almost like cleaned me out. I only had like maybe 50 mil left after that.
Jesus. But you have to like pretend, you have to like front it like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like,
Yeah, it's like I was known as a pretty like reputable person, so like people trusted me. I
yeah.
didn't scam anyone. A lot of those guys did, but
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like someone who didn't, and I didn't real world trade either. It was really big to like real world trade all of that money that you were taking from
Mm-hmm.
people. But I didn't do that. I just wanted a party hat,
Yeah.
so you know. So there
So,
was some innocence to it,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
long
When
story short,
so so
it was just really bad. Yeah.
so 2 years had gone by. Did you ever return to that, like in old school or anything? The habits of dual
By the
arena or anything?
time, no, I did do some dual arena in old school actually. Not a lot though, because I already know what it felt like to lose everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I definitely didn't want to feel that way again. And by the time old school came out, I was old enough to understand like what gambling was
Yeah.
and what addiction was. Like I was 20, so I had like already been, experimenting with alcohol and like stuff like that. So it's like, okay, there's consequences to these things that you can get addicted to.
Yeah.
So I would just, do like small staking for fun
Mm-hmm.
with like the extra money I had. Or, if I got a drop like an Armadale Hilt or something that was worth like 100 mil at the time, I would just go gamble like with like 20 mil of it.
Yep. It's just really like it's just the worst because even if you're just gonna be it's all innocent and you're not like
Yeah.
scamming people and you're not like it's just all just a matter of fun, it still is like this extreme dopamine where the
Yeah.
rest of the game, the more you do it, the rest of the game feels so shitty.
The rest of the game feels so bad when you're pulling in like 50 mil in two trades, and then you go and you have to kill like a boss for 20 hours to get the same amount of money. It feels
Hmm.
so bad.
Yeah, the one of I remember like when was it? It was like 2015 2015 or 2016. I just remember like there were these people that would just had massive, I mean, not nowhere near what it is today, but massive amounts of Zora kills. And they were just addicted to gambling. So they would just, kill 1,000 Zora, go stake it
And
all.
then go stake it. Yeah.
Go kill 1,000 Zora, stake it all. And it's like, when you're in that rut of full addiction where you literally just can't stop, it's just compulsive. It's just like, I have to. It's
Yeah.
just one of the worst. And, I don't mean to like pick out people, but I think the person I remember getting really sucked into gambling was Fatastic. Did you ever watch his stream?
Fantastic. Nope. I,
Fatastic. So it was PHAT. He
oh,
he was that pure that did like 200 mil RC through Abyss and shit, and he's got like a pretty. He doesn't really play RuneScape anymore. I think he plays like some zombie game, but Left 4 Dead, I think it's called. But anyway, he had his like gambling arc on stream where he just got so addicted, and he would stake bills, and like you would just see the highs and the lows of his stream. Like he'd be so happy when he's winning, and oh my god, it was like just fucking frightening seeing when he's like hella depressed when he loses everything. It was like, oh god, this is not good. Like this is just, and I just remember like thing is like he had such a nice account, and you could just tell he didn't want to have this addiction. Like he didn't want to stake. He would always have these resolutions that he would never be able to follow through. He'd be like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm done staking. Like we're back to the grind. I want to do like a bit. I want to do Nats through the Abyss and build up a huge bank and just play the game like I normally did. But just that addiction, that enticement to go back and do it again. The more you get hooked in that, the more you just crave the simple things. And that I feel like, having that like non-dopamine, just being able to like grind RuneScape, there's something so nice and just cozy about it. Just nothing comes cheap with RuneScape. And as soon as you start making things come cheap, everything just sucks. Like it's just, you don't get that long-term fulfillment anymore. And so you kind of see that when people get addicted to gambling briefly, it's like, you just want to go back to normalcy. You just
everything else.
like you
Everything else becomes worthless.
yeah, you just crave that old mentality you used to have where I could
Mhm.
just enjoy the game and feel like I can do these grinds. So it really is, I see gambling and just, I mean, obviously addiction is a disease. And when people get addicted to that, I just feel bad because it's like
But
most
yeah,
people don't want to be addicted to things. They just are.
no. Yeah, it's really hard too, especially when like life isn't going that great and you
It's,
just want
yep,
that hit.
yep,
Oh man, because I remember, like, personally speaking, like I would come home and just like I had a bad day, so I would just like start gambling and like
makes you feel
if I
good.
lost, no, but if you had a bad day and then you start losing on top of that, you're just like, fuck this, I'm gonna bet everything.
Yep,
You get to the point where you've like had it, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go all in.
yep. And you can,
And that's always the time you lose. Every time.
and you can like be, in a very calm state of mind. You can say, I'm never gonna be an emotional better. Like I'm never gonna be emotional
No.
about this. I'm just gonna be
It,
very. But dude, those emotions run so fucking hot when you're just on the craziest highs and craziest lows.
it just takes one bad day to trigger it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really glad that I never really got sucked into that. I mean, I definitely have had my own like gambling experiences that were
Hmm.
mainly like poker. I think I when I was introduced to poker in high school, I remember like really just instantly just being like, this is fun as fuck. Like I love
Yeah.
this. Like just any sort of Texas Hold'em with friends. And then of course when they were like apps, I remember playing some apps, and this is before like I was even really playing old school. This is like in Vegas, but at Vegas, it's what's funny about Vegas is like just being in that location for some reason, like the algorithms just all start sponsoring all these gambling things. It just starts happening because you're just in Vegas, you're just in that location. So every single advertisement's gambling. But yeah, I definitely understand that like gambler's mindset, and it's so toxic. It's just the
Yeah.
worst.
It's
And
just
And when you think about gambling like rationally, it's like, you're gonna lose. Like, it's just, this is not a winning thing. Like, yes, if you're gonna play odds and stuff and you're, responsible, it's like, yeah, but then at that point you're just ripping off other people, and that's not a great thing ever. But like,
Yeah.
it's just, this whole system is just built for highs and lows. It's just horrible. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot from it though, at least. Like
It is good to go through stuff.
it was worth it, you know?
Yeah, that's I like me. I'm very much like, I have to experience stuff myself.
Yeah. I'm glad I lost digital currency and not actual money too.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine like
My
getting
first
into it when
gambling
you have a
like
lot of money?
addiction. Yeah. Oh, dude. Like if I got into it right now, oh my God.
Jesus, and you don't know, dude. That's, I mean,
Like you can literally take out loans
yeah.
that are like tens of thousands of dollars and gamble it.
The thing that really depresses me is how crazy popular it is to just have advertisements of gambling, like DraftKings and all this other
Dude, they're
fucking.
everywhere.
It's everywhere, and the worst part is, and even my little brother. So my little brother, he was like 20. He was living with us briefly, and well, this is like in Alabama when I was living with my older brother. My little brother came out, and he discovered, some little sports betting app, and the first thing, he gets $100 for free or whatever. He's like, oh, this is awesome. And then he's like, first bet, he, wins like $500. He's like, oh my God. So he's like at work. And again, he's like young. He's like 19 or 20. He's just like telling all his friends, like, oh my God, like, guys, place a bet. Like, you're going to win this money and stuff. And then, so he's hyping up this whole thing, and he's just young and just stupid. And he doesn't realize it's just straight up gambling. He's like trying to get his friends involved and stuff. Cause he's one of those people that can just like really like get energized about something and start convincing people and stuff. And so he has this thing, and like he comes home, and I realize like what he's doing. I'm like, dude, like this is gambling. I know you don't know much about it, but this is really not a good thing to be getting into, especially when you don't have money at all and you're trying to save up for school and stuff, and you're just fucking taking bets. He's like, no, like it's fine. Like I'm just gonna just bet little bits. And then it was funny because I don't know the whole like what all he did, but you could tell like a couple months after, he's like, yeah, I've just fully stopped. Like this is horrible.
I mean, winning $500 when you're 19, that's
the
deal.
worst possible thing that could happen, is be given free money and then win instantly. Like that's gotta just be absolutely just the worst way to start off.
Life destroyed.
Literally. Okay. What's next? What do you think?
Oh man, should we talk about Colosseum?
Let's do it.
Well,
Okay.
we don't have much to go off of, but
Yeah, we don't. But I literally just ran to Virus completely butt naked because I did a hard clue, and then I just.
oh no.
Colosseum. Yeah, that's exciting. It's going to be hopefully the most challenging, but the highest challenge ceiling that we'll see in the game.
Hopefully infinitely challenging.
Is that a good thing, by the way? Let's just.
I don't think so, but it'd be cool.
One of the things, I'll let you like share your thoughts after this, but like
Yeah.
something that I think maybe was AddyCon or somebody was talking about like this. Oh, it's No Monkey. He was saying like he really wants it to just be like this endless thing where it just make, by the end you're just making hundreds and hundreds of mils per hour. And when I think of these kinds of like endless things where it really is this enraged mechanic where you are risking a lot, the last thing I want to see is them shoving in alks. I mean, shoving in just raw GP per hour.
Yeah.
I think that's a really dangerous route to go down. Just to like, if Jagex, gets scared that the community's not gonna like how much profit's being given, it's like I just don't want them to inflate this drop table. Just literally, I can completely see the Colosseum coming out, and if you're good enough at the game, you ignore everything else because you are just generating all resources, like just at a stupid rate that breaks Ironman mode, that breaks these things where it's just, okay, everything else feels stupid. You might as well just get hella good at this because it's just shitting out stuff. So the way to go about it is to just have the rare uniques come more commonly from the end. And You could still have it, give a reasonable amount of supplies, but I really just want. I don't want them to overinflate this shit, and I'm really scared they're gonna do it because they're gonna.
Yeah.
And again, like if you kind of have the mindset of a main, everything is just can be converted to GP, so it doesn't matter. But please, like, please calm down with the. I just don't want to see this become just literally. If you're the best, like if you have max gear and you get really proficient at this, I do not want to see people getting 100 mil raw GP per hour on an Ironman. Like it's
Definitely
God.
not.
Scares me.
So
Scares me.
there's like two potential ways they could go about rewards, I guess, which would be like linear or exponential, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what No Monkey was probably talking about is like more of an exponential type reward where
Yeah.
like, oh, mid-level players are going to make around like 1 mil an hour, but then like the very top is going to make like 20, 30, 40, 50 mil.
He wants he wants hundreds mil, which is fine
Dude, that's
if it's
no.
it's fine if it's locked to uniques because then it's supply and demand. So
Uh,
those will not make those rates if people get good enough. Obviously, those hourly rates will drop because there'll be more of those uniques in the game.
I
So
could see like 20, 30, 40
yeah,
mil an
yeah,
hour
and that's
maybe.
that's what it will most likely drop to because if something's 200 mil an hour, people are gonna flood to it. People are gonna be like, I'm gonna get hella good at this, and then it's tied to uniques. So the
Yeah.
uniques will bring the price down at a respectable level.
Right. And if it's on release, obviously, like the first people who get that item are going to make billions. But,
Yeah,
you know,
no, no, no.
I'm just
Oh,
saying, like, once everything calms down, once the dust settles,
mhm.
like, I'm okay with this being the best GP in the game.
It should be, yes. Again,
But
best.
there's a there's a cap on that, you know?
Yeah, like keep it like Nex, where Nex is hella good GP per hour, but it's tied in items, not raw
Yeah,
GP.
exactly. But yeah, so there's two ways they could basically go about it. If they do make like the regular loot, quote unquote, more linear, that would actually be really good for like people who are trying to like get from mid game to end game,
Mm-hmm.
because it will actually force them to challenge themselves. So that would be really good for the game. Colosseum in general, like mechanically, have you seen the map or like
Um,
what it's gonna look like?
just yeah, I just saw that like there's like a, a couple
There's like
pillars in a
four pillars
circle. Yeah,
basically, four pillars in a circle. So that's like all the information we have.
and it looks like monsters come out from those exits that are like there's like gates.
Yeah.
Maybe they spawn in just like Inferno, but I think they actually might be
Um,
entering in.
I'm sure thematically they're gonna make it enter from the edges, the sides, or even like have them rise up from the center or something.
Who's designing this, by the way? What are the devs
I have
in
no
charge of this?
idea.
It's got to be Arcane is one of them, but
Yeah, but one thing, well, the rewards is one thing, but then the way they're like gauging how much rewards you get sounds like they're going to use a different system other than like how many waves you complete, right?
mhm.
The glory system. Is this familiar?
Yeah. I,
Okay.
I, I, again, I don't know much about the Coliseum, but I did cover a ramble on the
Okay.
glory system where that's,
Basically, like the faster, better, less damage you take, like you get more glory. So I like this idea because it'll allow them a little bit more flexibility on like how things progress basically. Like Inferno, right? It's a predictable what monsters are coming next, but it's not predictable where they're gonna spawn in.
mhm.
So I think Glory, because it is tied to time, it would actually be good to have like repeatable, non-randomized waves. That's my personal
Yeah.
like thing.
No,
Like
that's what
I would like to see that
I normally lean on
predictability.
predictability. It's so
Like
good.
Zulra, you
Yeah.
know what's coming next, even though the first few phases are random, like you know what's coming.
Hmm.
But it shouldn't be like the fight caves where there's 20 fucking rotations.
Yeah.
I think it should just be one and it's always that one, or maybe like two or three different ones.
It's
So
just
you like get better and better at, you know, progressing through it. Even if you're like new to the game, you know it's coming like in the first few waves at least. So you like get good at those few waves and you just keep building and building on what you already have learned.
Yeah. Now, there is something really, really satisfying about just going in, knowing exactly where to be, knowing exactly the timing of things. It's just fun. Like, it's just fun doing fights like that. It's the same thing with like CMs. Can you imagine if Tecton just had a different fucking timing every time you entered like CMs? Just like, God, this is just keep things predictable. Keep
Yeah.
things.
I think the best example of that is Nilo, and I think that's why that
Yeah.
room is so fun in
Because you
particular. Like
master it. You can
the
master it if
skill
you do.
cap, the skill cap is so high. Like you can do so much in that room, but it's always the same spawns, you know? And I think the glory system helps to balance that out to where like, okay, you need to do this fast and you need to take no damage. So obviously you need to know where things are going to be.
Yeah. How does it progress? Is it everything is consistent all the way up? And how do you make it so difficult to the point where it's gatekeeping in a healthy way? Like it's just making it so this is
Man,
incredibly difficult.
I was thinking about a lot of like different things they could do. Particularly like maybe not have it just be the monsters that are causing damage and things to happen, but also have like environmental things happening. So it'd be more like a PvE type of thing. I think that's something that this game tends to like not do as much. Like we don't see that very much. Like one example would be like Akka's DPS check, if you will.
Yep.
Like where they slam 3 of the quadrants, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that where it's like, "Oh, I have to be in this quadrant when this happens or else I'm pretty much dead or at least like close."
We also see it with Awakened Leviathan and just Leviathan in general. These boulders that you must
Boulders.
set up nicely. Like you must.
Yeah, but the boss like fires those boulders. So
That's true.
I'm thinking more like strictly environmental.
I see.
So another mechanic I thought of was like, okay, we have to encourage people to go fast. Because one of the things about Inferno is you can go as fast or as slow as you want, and you can still get the cape. You can literally just sit there and milk SGS all day long, and end up with 8 restores and 7 brews and kill Zuck no problem. But since we're encouraging speed, it looks like with this glory system, I think there should be some type of charge up mechanic somewhere, whether it be like an NPC or like something in the environment that would, pretty much force you to do like go kill it right now. There needs to be more of that. And they did like an okay job with the nibblers. Nibblers suck, but like that's the one thing that actually forces you to do something like right away. Like, oh, it's
Yep.
the start of the wave. You need to kill the nibblers right now.
And the meleeers digging.
And
That's
then the melee are digging. That's the other like thing in the Inferno that makes it. And those two things make Inferno so hard. Like, if even if blobs like blobs are probably the hardest thing in Inferno to learn just because of the timing, but bats and meleeers, they make it so you actually have to like figure things out fast.
yep.
So those are good in the Inferno, but again, like you just kill the nibblers and the meleeer and then you can just like hang out.
Yeah.
Nothing else is going on.
It's gonna be interesting because I'm thinking I'm trying to pull from what they've done recently. So
Yeah.
like Awakened variants. Have you done those by the way? Have you
No, I'm saving my orbs for CAs like a noob.
That's probably the way to go. I fucking
Yeah.
hope there's not some garbage. I hope it's just get a completion. Please.
It's more than likely just going to be kill it once.
Yeah.
But just in case, man, I don't want to get another
Yeah.
60. I don't have time to get another 60 orbs.
There's no way they're gonna be adding something crazy like finish. They get a. I can't even imagine they did like get a perfect Awakened. Like there's no way because
No.
yeah, like dude,
No.
that would literally that orbs would skyrocket. I mean, just go
I think a lot of people would
crazy.
just be like, okay, I guess I'm a master combat achiever
Yeah.
now.
No, it's definitely. I think it's just. I mean, Who knows? They even could make it so it's not even on there.
I hope they do that and they just like make it like, oh, kill this with a salamander instead of actually doing the awakened version.
Yeah.
So you
No,
don't
I
have to
yeah.
like use orbs. Orbs is like,
No,
especially
it's
for
actually up in the
Ironman.
air. I don't see them doing anything more than just get the awaken kill.
Or it could be like kill any of the like kill one, like one of the four.
That's true. That would be one way they go. I think it would most likely be either none or all, though.
Yeah, most likely, but
Only
like,
because there isn't like a grouped up thing. Like when you go to the CA's task list, it shows the individual bosses, and there's
yeah,
no way it's just
true.
going to be one of them.
Yeah, true.
So
But yeah, I don't know. I'm
they're
just
fun though. The
holding
thing
off on
is
that.
like the awakened variants are fun. Of course, if you're an Iron Man, if you're any limited mode, you'd be so much better off having a main to practice because those
Mhm.
things are really no joke. I mean, I went
Yeah,
in just as an Iron Man. I've been playing this game for fucking 20,000 plus. Not this on this one account, almost 20,000 hours. Like I have experience with this game, and that shit still was very difficult. Like
yeah. I mean, I tried some Vardoris on my friend's alt, and I like couldn't get past, I don't know, like 60 or 30% HP.
yeah,
Like when it started throwing out those double per
yeah.
switchy things.
And I have max gear, so I'm max gear. I've played this game a lot. I do it for a
Yeah.
living, and like I can't even imagine some guy that's just at a more like medium level, maybe without best. I like. I'm just thinking Whisperer without a shadow. Like, good luck, good
And
luck.
they're
Like
hard.
that's gonna be
Wasn't
a
your kill
bitch.
like 9 minutes with a shadow? Like, I can't imagine.
I don't know how long it was, but that shit was long.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a fun fight. Though the Whisperer fight was definitely fun, but it would be so much harder if I had no experience with Whisperer.
Yeah.
But going back to like the Colosseum, like
Yeah.
seeing what they've done with the DT2 Awakened variants,
Hmm.
there is so much shit that they can add where
It's
it's
exciting.
fair. It's very fair, but it gets nuts. Like it gets
Yeah.
nuts quick, overwhelming. But
Yeah.
with more because I'm thinking of Awakened Duke. I watched a guide
Oh, dude. That
after
can get a little crazy.
dude it's so crazy because you constantly feel this need to be up close to Duke and you have to keep in track you have to keep in mind, okay, normally it's 5 ticking he's stomping, now it's 4 ticking, but you don't actually know the exact threshold and you're not really paying attention to its HP, and then so you're constantly having to be close to it and then back off as soon as it stomps so you don't get fucking stomped. Then you got these acid things, and then if you messed up the clouds, you got to dodge the clouds, and then you got to deal with the mage attacks. You're switching to mage occasionally if you fuck up. There's so much going on, but it's fair because if you know this shit inside and out, you're gonna
If
be
you
just
just
fine.
if you just run the pattern,
Yep.
like
You
you're good.
exactly. You mark the tiles. You get a lot of practice in. This shit's gonna be super satisfying because you're just
Yeah.
gonna be like, I'm just manipulating you. Like you're my little bitch right now. I'm just fucking.
Hmm.
That's yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I want to see from the Coliseum. Like things that are, bruh, there's too much going on. Like Jesus Christ, can you imagine getting like poison splatted in the Coliseum or some like acid pool or some lava pool that now you have to move in a pattern and keep these like fucking prayer
Yeah.
cycles on.
Oh
Jesus.
my gosh. Yeah, it could get really insane, especially towards like the upper ends of things where
Yeah.
they're literally just like, oh, at this point they should be dead, so we're just gonna do something ridiculous.
I know. Like literally, if it was just like you have to constantly move every time you are stationary, you're just taking, a 20.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, they could do a lot. The quadrant thing it could be interesting because they could pull out some like Akka stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But yeah, with the charging up thing, I was thinking like, okay, maybe they have four types, whether it be like the air, earth, fire, water type thing, and then each pillar is representative of that, kind of like Akka has. And then like a random one of those things comes out. Even though, this is like the same monsters always spawn from the same places each wave,
Mm-hmm.
or like as the waves progress, like it changes obviously, but the same thing happens each time. But that could be like the randomizing thing, and that's the monster that charges up. And then that monster, if it's fully charged, goes to that pillar and activates whatever that pillar does.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Whether
yeah.
it be like earthquake, tsunami, um, like a Krondus, whatever. What's his name? Zebak.
Yeah.
You know, make waves with if it's water, or like flame wall if it's fire. You know, things like that.
So
So
you
that
really, well,
I
so
that's
yeah,
like taking it way more environmental rather than
yeah.
just like kill all the monsters in the room and you're done.
They're gonna. You're totally right. They're gonna. I think there's gonna be a lot of environmental factors. I think that's the way to really push the limits too.
That's what they need to do to make it harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, making it also so like there is a best place to stand, but it's not the same place every wave like the Inferno.
Mm.
That's another big thing I think that we can see with this, because there are like it's pretty big and there are 4 different pillars. I don't want to see like the pillars get damaged and they fall and collapse and then you can't use it anymore. That I hate that.
Yeah.
Especially if
That's
this is like especially if this is an infinitely going on thing. Like I
yeah.
don't think pillars should fall. I think you should always have access to all of them.
It would only be fine if there is no RNG element. So, for example, if there were like
Right.
some sort of nibblers, if you get it off, it's guaranteed. You made
Like
it.
you just have to click it and then you're
Exactly.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you are right. Like those are extremely punishing mechanics. When you're thinking long term and you got shit that's decaying over time, Jesus, that shit gets
Dude,
stressful.
no, that's not good.
Yeah.
Because they could do so many other things that would make it more fun and more challenging than do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, like make it so you have to navigate this arena based on what's coming next. So like if you know this monster is going to spawn in the southwest corner, you better be in the northwest. You know, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually you'll just kind of memorize like the rotation of where to go. And then towards the end of it, or not towards the end because there won't be an end, but like in later waves, there would be like certain tiles you would have to stand on for the monsters to even be off ticked.
Mm.
Because eventually there's just going to be so much shit going on that, you know, standing behind a pillar ain't going to cut it. You have to expose yourself in order to like off tick these monsters properly.
God, I'm so glad that there are absolute beast players in this game, because it gets me so excited to watch people take this. Like Noob Type and Portkazard
Dude,
are going to go so wild on this shit.
it'd be like wave 300.
Like just the simple fact that they're doing like all 4 Awakened variants with, just all in one inventory and
You know, just
doing
casually do like full inventory on Leviathan,
just
whatever.
fucking 25 Awakened Leviathans in a row. What the Jesus Christ, dude? Like how?
Gosh.
Like, dude, what the fuck? Dude, that literally when Awakened Leviathan first came out, I was talking on the casts to people and I was saying, don't you think Awakened Leviathan is maybe a bit too hard? Like, just maybe, and this is before I had even done it. I just remember watching people at that very end stage, just there's too much going on. But to be fair, once I've done it, I was like, okay, there's not too much going on. It's just something
Yeah.
that you have to practice. But when you see people, when you see poor Kazard and
Dude.
Noob Tide doing 25 in a row with nothing, like, you guys are fucking animals, like genuine
Yeah.
animals.
I think I was in like AddyCon stream when that first got released, and then he was having trouble with it, and I was like, maybe this is a little too hard. And he was also like complaining about it at first.
Yeah.
And then like literally 2 days later, he was like, no, it's fine. Like you can figure it out. It's good.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Yeah. You just gotta, I mean, that,
it's
I mean,
crazy.
when,
Crazy someone of his level is like complaining about something being too hard.
yeah. Yeah. No, it was funny when like No Monkey had that like villain arc briefly where, people, he was just saying,
The sound per flicking. Do you remember that?
yeah, well, it had a visual cue too.
Yeah,
Had
the
like
visual cue, like based on what sound happened.
yeah. I mean, okay, this is one of my complaints with even normal Leviathan. I hate that it gets to the point where it's actually just stupidly unfair if you don't freeze it.
Yeah, it just like hits you in the same tick that it launches the ball.
It's like, can you, like, this would have been fun if it just capped at the fun point where, you know, it's like the phase after where you get like like a full on tick to register and, you know, the next tick to actually pray.
Yeah.
Like
Like
if
it's all three prayer styles and it's going like pretty rapid, right?
yeah, yeah. When it's rapid enough where you have to stare at the boss itself and you barely have any eye movement, that was enough. Don't take it a step goddamn further like they've done, and it's like actually just guessing, like just
Like
fucking
you
guess.
can't even react. It's gonna hit you the same tick it happens. What?
Like I actually genuinely hope they fix that because yeah, I understand you're now forcing the freeze mechanic, but stop. Like it's
I think
just that's not
that's all they're
necessary.
doing. It's just they're forcing it to just like actually do the boss the way they intended, you know?
I don't want them to do that. I like that it caps at a nice level that is difficult enough where you really do want to freeze it by that point. But you're
Yeah.
not going to just be RNG'd afterward. Just God.
Especially when you're like almost at the threshold to spawn the
You
little
hit seven
jellyfish
zeros in a row.
thing. And then you're just like, well, I'm dead.
Dude,
Because you can't even click on your barrage and then the boss in the time that those 5 fucking orbs hit you.
oh my God, dude. The amount of kill I would probably say 50. I've died so many times to normal Leviathan, probably like 30 plus. And half of them were going to be PBs. Like I refuse to eat. I refuse. So I've hit like, you know, fucking 7 rubies. I'm down to like 20 HP and then I don't fucking like proc the right thing. And then I'm rushing over to the white thing and I get meleeed by it. I'm like, oh my God, I want to throw something.
Like you hit all those rubies, like you're getting it down, and then the jellyfish just spawns in the wrong corner. And you're like,
Dude, that happens. That happens so many times in the Awakened variant because I still to this day do not I think I understand in normal Leviathan why it spawns on the other corner sometimes.
I found a place where I can spawn it like 95% of the time, but sometimes it still spawns in that other corner.
Dude, the Awakened, I didn't really understand the threshold. I kind of went in there pretty blind. I watched like Port Kazard's like clean kill just so I kind of get the gist, but I just went in and yeah, I mean probably 5 of the procs. It was just in the completely wrong direction. I just getting fucking spammed greens and blue orbs. I'm trying to run over there. I'm like, dude, like it's going too fast. Like it's gonna take so long to catch up to it. And then by that point, I'm just dead.
You just got to run the other way.
Yeah, literally. But then if you run the other way, then and the thing about Awakened is like as soon as it procs and you're not prepared, if you're not prepared for it and you don't know what's happening,
It's like
there's
every one tick, right?
well,
Rapid fire.
yeah, it's every 1 tick. But on top of that, it shoots out like 2 things of like a 5 clump of boulders. So you're blocked.
Oh,
Like you're
dude.
literally blocked.
So you can literally do like one lap and you're fucked.
Yeah, sometimes even like a fucking half lap because like for some reason there's another 5 thing there. Like you can get around it, but it's like okay, you're gonna lose DPS. Like good luck. But yeah, that the whole thing about the Awakened variants is really just understanding what's happening.
Yeah.
Don't go in there blindly. Don't think you know. It's really about okay, this is when it procs. Set it up nicely so you're not in this horrible predicament where you're just running to the white thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could add a lot to the Colosseum to make it hard. It's just going to be a matter of if they do it or not.
What do you think the rewards are going to be? I know they're coming out with the
Like the regular rewards,
well,
I
even
have no
the
idea.
uniques and stuff.
The uniques, they announced a few of them.
I know we're getting that quiver,
So like,
Vidana's
yeah,
quiver.
quiver. So it's just like a direct
Vidana.
upgrade. You can hold multiple ammos, right? Which is going to be good if you have like Tebow and ZCB. Saves 1 inventory slot at least, which will be nice.
And you don't have to
But
do any ammo switches either.
correct, yeah. It just holds those 2 ammos, and then whatever weapon you have, it'll just use that ammo, from what I read. Which is nice because if you like currently, if you use the wrong ammo, like if you use bolts with a Tebow, you literally have to wait that attack cycle,
So
even if you have
dumb.
the. I hate it.
It's so dumb.
Just like delays your next hit, even if you like quickly equip the arrows and attack again. Like
And
you
most
have
of
to wait.
and most of the time you're too distracted by all the environmental factors that are going on in the boss itself that you don't even understand what happened. So you're just
Yeah,
like,
you,
"Hey, what?
yeah.
Like, what's going
Why
on?"
am I not shooting? Like, so it's already been 5 ticks by the time you notice.
I know.
And then
So
you have to wait
bad.
another 5.
So bad.
So that'll be nice. There's also like this like Thor's hammer type of like thrown item that's gonna like return to you.
That's like the defense reducing like Dragon Warhammer for ranged.
Yeah. I don't know about that one.
Me neither. That was
I don't know.
again, like I remember reading this post. It's been a couple months. So
Yeah, I mean time will tell, but it's like based on magic level, I think. So
we'll see.
I don't know what's gonna happen there. But it might make Tebow busted in some places, like even more busted than it already is if it's based on magic level.
Okay, so
Uh,
what else was there? There was the new prayer armor, which I thought was so
eh,
dumb that they're not making it ranged.
lackluster. Yeah, lackluster. Well, there was an option to like put ranged
And they voted no
bonuses
to
on
it.
it.
Or wait. The prayer armor. Oh, wait, is that what we're talking about? The prayer armor?
Yeah, the Sunfire armor or
Yeah.
whatever. They proposed two of them. One had like negative everything and just prayer.
Why yeah, just
Yeah, like negative magic and ranged.
it's literally just a very barely better than proselyte armor now,
Like
right?
a little bit better than proselyte. Like
That's
so
so stupid.
instead of being able to AFK for 6 minutes, now you can AFK for 7 minutes.
Yeah, maybe even 6.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I wish they had just gone down the range route, but they did give us the option, and people fucking voted no because, God, I'm so irritated by that. Like
So yeah,
that is a niche that
that's
could have
like
been filled.
whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing that was interesting. I think this is another reward. You can like attach this thing to Guardian boots, and it like does extra
Oh
recoil shit.
yeah.
You remember
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah. It has like a lava stomp or something.
Yeah. So like anything that's in melee range, basically, it's gonna like recoil back onto that if you take damage from anything.
So cool.
So it's like an AOE recoil.
That's
So
actually really cool.
yeah, I'm excited to see like if that has any niche uses in the Colosseum because they kind of hinted at that being useful in the Colosseum in one of the posts.
Mm-hmm.
So Guardian boots, like full Justy and Bulwark, might be like a useful thing to like bulwark spec hordes of like monsters that are like doing tiny bits of damage and you're like recoiling back onto them. So
It's
it'll
gonna be
be
fun.
interesting.
Yeah. I just get so excited about these. Like, if something comes out and it's not too convoluted, like again, like those kind of like thrown axes that like come back to you or whatever, like boomerang, like it could be
Eh,
fun. It could be fun. It feels a little bit weird, but
we'll see.
just those boots seem so like obviously they're niche, but they just are simple. It's like this is gonna stomp stuff, and that sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be just like an interesting thing to use within the Colosseum, but maybe not anywhere else.
No, well, I'll
In the
find places
sound of
to
it,
use it. I'll
or
find places.
like, oh, Necreals was another thing they mentioned. Like, you know how the death spawns like do damage to you even through prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you're wearing Guardian boots with that thing on it, it's gonna like do extra recoil damage, so it's gonna make that go faster.
Mm,
But I don't know how much recoil damage it's gonna be.
it's true.
But you don't need boots for barrage tasks anyway, so there
Yeah.
you go. Direct upgrade to one task. Um, Other than that, I think that was pretty much it for Colosseum.
Yeah. I wonder if they're planning anything else, like some mega giga thingy. Obviously, the quiver's the big thing, but
But yeah, I mean, being that it sounds like what everyone's talking about is going to be like an endless thing, I don't know if there's going to be like a final boss even.
yeah.
So
I almost feel like it's more appropriate for there to be an end, but it's like almost unreachable. Like it's
yeah,
like at this current stage, like you would literally have to be insane and
like
I don't know.
maybe way down the road when gear is completely busted, someone will be able to do
Yeah.
it.
Like yeah, it would
That
be cool if
that
it's
type of
just
thing.
exactly. It's like it's actually capped like 250 waves or something, but
Yeah,
at the time of release and even a month after, we're only getting like 120 or something. But there
yeah,
is technically an end.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
And then, yeah, it sounds like if you hit a certain glory, you're just gonna get the quiver or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do something like fast enough without taking too much damage, and you get to a certain point, you're gonna get it.
Yep.
So that's pretty nice. Like you don't have to actually like finish it, you
Yeah,
know?
that would be awful. That then the services really will go wild.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on
'Cause,
services, by the way? Just the fact that
um,
we've literally just been in this new state of the game where there isn't as much integrity as before, which we could talk
uh,
about, but yeah,
uh, I mean, I have like varying opinions depending on like what service, I guess. Like I don't like login service. That shouldn't be in the game.
mm-hmm.
I think that if you're using like the combat achievement services, it's uh mm, I mean, I've done things that aren't like this, but you should like participate in whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's a speed run, you need to be doing it with them. If it's a perfect thing, you should be doing it with them, like when possible. But there are some where they're like, no, like you cannot come in this room. Like we won't let you do it. We're gonna
Yeah.
do it
I
for
mean,
you, and you're just gonna sit there.
that depends on like coding itself. Like they could make it so you're forced to be in the room, but Jagex just hasn't done that.
Well, I think like the Akka one is the only one I did that wasn't like that. Just because
Yeah,
like
yeah, that was the one.
I was at the point
I
where
mean,
like I
even
know.
wardens though, even perfect wardens, you just die beforehand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like literally, you die at the very beginning because of
And you get the combat achievement.
yeah. So you die at the like the little yellows or blue things, the beams, or
Uh-huh.
not red, the red or yellow
Yellow and
beams.
red.
Yep, and then it doesn't count as a death. Like it doesn't count like you messed up,
Oh,
and then the person just goes through the whole rest of the thing, and you get it. It's just fine. And it
yeah,
hasn't been patched. Like what the fuck? Like patch it.
that's kind of busted.
It
But
is.
yeah, if it's something for me personally, like if it's something I know that I can definitely do, I just like am too burnt to like want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the only thing I have to do to get a Zuck helm, like fuck it,
Yep. Yep.
you know. And I think you kind of did something similar at one
Yeah, I
point,
was
right?
hella burnt. I just had some
Yeah,
stupid TOA test, and some guy like literally just. I mean, it was Saxer Pillar. He's just like,
Saxer
dude,
Pillar,
I'll
yeah,
just send this for you, and I'm like,
yeah,
for free right now? He's
yeah,
like, yeah. I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna fucking deny this. But yeah, you're right. Like those should be patched to the point where, you do have to
right,
participate in it,
yeah.
and
I think that would
I'm
be fair.
and I'm cool. I'm cool with them offering team services and things, but you're totally right. I'm with you on login services being completely stupid.
Yeah. But yeah, you're basically just like buying friends, buying temporary
Yeah,
friends,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, I ended up buying the Akka one, and then I wanted to do like the Insanity one, like legit, because that was my
That's
last
good.
task. So I tried it for like, I would say like 2 weeks with like just whoever wanted to send it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up just being like, hey, Jake C, do you want to do Insanity? He was like,
Shout
he was like,
out.
oh, he was like, oh yeah, I haven't done that on my Ultimate Ironman yet. So I was like, oh, sick, yeah, let's do it. And then I had to wait around for like half an hour for him just to gear up for TOA. Shout out to Ultimate Ironman and Jake C.
Unplayable game mode, I swear. Just so awful.
Dude, I literally said in my stream like, oh, Jake C's gonna come. Okay, so let's find something to do for half an hour because that's probably how long it's gonna take him to gear up.
It
And it
literally
was
did.
literally like 30 minutes on the dot.
So funny.
I think I put that in like one of my progress videos too. It's like really funny. But yeah, we won and done that thing. Jake C's a beast.
He's such a beast. And he loves it too. He's not like ever
I
dreading
know.
it. He just likes it.
It was like flawless. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. So that's how I got my Zuckhound back.
Very cool. Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
like I don't really enjoy upkeep of things.
Yeah, like
Upkeep of like I mean, quest cape's
West
fine for
Cape's
the
not
most
that
part because
bad.
it's just like one thing that occasionally comes. And I'm really glad that they haven't done much to the achievement diaries. It's just they've added one new area.
Hmm.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine like every goddamn update there's a new task to do in this area? Like
yeah. No, I couldn't do it. Like CA's is already like so much. Like when TOACAs came out, oh my god, I put that off for so
Me
long, dude.
too, dude. We were in the we were in the same camp. Just like this sucks.
I just like go through all the tasks and you're like, all of this sounds miserable.
I know.
And you've already done so much TOA that you're already like, fuck this place.
Yep.
This
And
sucks.
you've already felt that dopamine and pleasure of getting a Zuck helm the first time or the second time. It's just like
Yeah.
I have to do this
You're like,
again. Like, oh,
now it's just a chore.
it's
Like,
just pure chores. Yep.
I've already proven myself. Why do I have to do all this crap?
Yep. I
Uh,
understand. Like it clearly makes sense. I just hate it. Like
yeah, it makes sense, but like, it's not fun. It's not fun anymore. Going
um
through it the first time was a blast, but now it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah, yep.
ugh.
Okay, this is from the Twitter topics. Chris
Okay.
Toms says,
All right.
you both have spent significant time in a variety of OSRS clans. In your opinion, what is something that makes a clan good, and what common practice is overdone?
So, I mean, I'll start. I've been in, like, I started off in Slay Stars, like way back in the day when I played a main,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty good. Like, everybody got along, everybody was nice, like, chat was really active. We had our memes, we had our jokes. Like, everybody was like down to do whatever because everybody was mains too. So it was like, yeah, obviously we can do content together. So everybody was pretty cool. So I like that about clans where it's like you can literally just say in the chat, like, hey, does anyone want to do this thing? And you're always going to have somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like the main draw of even being in a clan to begin with, aside from the social aspect of it. But then I became an Ironman and like I didn't really have a clan for a while. And then I got towards the end game and I was like, oh, this clan solitary is like the prestigious clan. They're like the oblivion of Ironmen. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that clan. And then I got in there, like nobody talks, like radio silence. Someone would like announce that they got something, and then everybody would be like, "Oh, grats,"
Or
and that was it.
spacebar.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That was it. That was the
Yeah.
whole thing. I was like, oh, this is not as fun as I thought it would be. And then you would be like, oh, anybody want a Tob? And you'd be like, oh, well, first of all, no answer. And then like, like you're just standing at Tob and you see like two different groups of like clanmates going, and they're always the same people.
Yep. Yep.
So you're just like, oh, I guess you guys are just like your own little mini
Click.
clan within our clan. Yeah, your
Yeah.
clique. So that was like really clicky, I guess. And
Yeah.
then that clan turned into Valiance, which was like almost the exact same thing.
Did you ever experience Olympus? Were you ever in that?
No, I didn't.
Were you ever in what was the oh, Erudite?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
No.
Erudite turned into Solitaire, I'm pretty sure. Or
Okay. So it's like before
actually,
Solitary.
I apologize. I'm trying to think. I think Erudite turned into Olympus and Solitary. It was like there was like kind of like a split where Erudite was sort of just Endgame Ironman clan in a
Hmm.
sense, and then it kind of split off. I think Sayalo and Bertil made their version, and then the Skillers went their separate route. But
Yep.
I had
So,
solitary experience. I don't remember the chat actually being so dead, especially in comparison to Olympus. Olympus is literally like you go in and you have giga sweats. I mean, just
we're
like
just sweating their ass off all day.
yeah. And the thing
Yeah.
is, it was actually kind of nice because you go in there. Well, one of the things I really enjoyed about Olympus and in the early days was like you have the top ranks. Like you just like anybody that's top page Iron Man is in that clan. It's just like you got not everybody, but like you had rank 1, you had rank 2, you had rank fucking 4, you had rank 8. Like just all the top you had Higer, Dids, everybody. And so you know that if you're in here, you're getting all the best information, like the top information. So
Right.
if you care about progressing your account, if you care about new methods, you care about new metas, and Olympus was not specifically a skilling clan. It was like PVM, skilling, collection logging, cluing, like all this stuff. And
More
there's
diverse. Yeah.
it's so nice because like And the other cool thing is like solitary was fun because like when you're entering it, you're gonna type in all your like items that you've collected and how many like
Yeah,
your EHB, which was fun. But
dude, the spreadsheet. That's the draw.
it's so dude, and the spreadsheet. The thing is, the Olympus spreadsheets even went crazier because
Uh,
none of it was RNG. It was just purely hours. So,
mm,
which some people probably wouldn't enjoy if you've been spoon fed. It's kind of nice, like showing that you've spoon fed things, but everything was hours, and it also included like EHC, so efficient hours clued, which I enjoyed. So then that time is like being accounted for, and everything was like the effective rates. So if you
right.
killed 40,000 Vorkath, it counts for 0 because that's just what you do for
Oh,
skilling. Like
to get 200 mil all.
exactly. So that
Okay.
would be allocated to just your skills in general. So everything felt really nice. Everything was interwoven, and then on top of that, you got Higer like running these fucking calcs where any new update comes out, he just fucking comes out with the new rates and comes out with the new methods but the problem
Damn.
with Olympus is you got these fucking weirdos, and
Yeah.
that makes sense. When people are chronically online, you're gonna encounter weirdos. But the problem is there wasn't enough like accountability for it. Like there wasn't enough like punishment for weird shit that would happen.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then you're involved in this clan that's just got just here and there negative reputation here, negative reputation. It's like you're just what the fuck is going on? And I had eventually had to just leave because it was just unbearable. You just had these fucking turbo weirdos, and oh my god. And so it sucked because nothing was ever happening about it because they would make friends with the leaders kind of, and so there's kind of like this awkward thing where the leaders can't really kick them because even maybe some of the leaders are kind of like just it's all trolling. They just see it as trolling.
Whatever, just ignore it.
Yeah. So I had to eventually leave, but solitary and Olympus were fun. But then after Olympus, I just went fully clanless,
You went rogue.
which I kind of I miss clans, but yeah. So yeah, what clan are you in right now?
I'm in 07 Iron right now with LGR, so that was pretty.
OGR?
LGR, Lone Gym Rat.
Lone Gym Rat.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I've been watching his progress videos, and we're kind of friends. We've known each other for a while. And then I was like, okay, I got kicked out of Valiance because I didn't do a fucking activity check for the 4th fucking time. So I
That
didn't want to
is
reapply
so
again.
cringe.
Dude, I hate that shit. Like,
I know.
Just look at my XP on Temple. Like,
Stop.
God damn.
Okay.
I'm not going into your Discord every fucking day, like looking at the announcements. Like, just let me play the game and like, yeah. If I want to like do something with the clan, I'll do it. Yeah. But
no, I'm with you there. I tried out FOH. It was a mistake. It was a mistake to have tried out FOH when I did because I wanted to try out something, but it was literally at my maximum burnt out stage. This was the last like early this past summer. I'm just like so burnt, and I join it, and you have a trial run, and so like they're like, okay, so you gotta participate in all these things. You gotta like write down your log. You gotta like write down the people you did it with. You gotta write and you gotta interact and stuff. So it's like this like forced like interaction, which don't get me wrong, it definitely kind of gets you into the groove of things pretty quickly, and that's what the clan's about. And so I understand there's other clans that won't require that, and I went into this, but oh my god, after a couple days, I was getting DM'd like, "Hey, we haven't noticed you, really doing much on here." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of busy, like just doing outside things." And then it was like the next day, like, "Oh, are you gonna like raid with some people? Are you gonna do?" And I'm like, it was cool because they clearly care about me trying to pass this trial, but
yeah,
I'm like, nope. Maybe if I was like really into the kind of engagement, like, because I've never played this game as like a group thing. Don't get me wrong, I have fun team raiding sometimes, but I'm not gonna just spam them and do all these and I don't like bingos. I've had my experience with bingos early on, didn't like it, not a big fan of
that was another thing about the solitary bingos. It was like, if you do not sweat your ass off 16 hours a day in this bingo, like you will be ousted. Like, you will be basically just a pile of crap to everybody else, and nobody will ever do any content with you ever again. That's how I felt, at least. I don't know.
You're totally right.
It probably wasn't anything like that,
You're
but
totally
it's just
right.
how I felt. Like everybody was just like, "Oh, I fucking quit my job to like I went on disability to do this bingo. Like, let's get it, boys. Like I slept
Let's
2
get it.
hours and I've drank a 12 pack of Mountain Dews already." Like
I know.
it was like
Like,
that environment. Like
you're totally right. It's just like
and I
I
was just like,
never.
dude, I want to play like maybe 3 or 4 hours a day and like
Yeah.
I'm good.
Like I will sweat if I want to sweat at my piece of content that I want to do. As soon as it's like, go get a certain Barrows piece,
Oh, dude, Barrows.
go get this DK's ring for the 20th time. Like I do not care. And I'm not gonna do that. And I'm not gonna join these bingos anymore. The couple times I did do bingos, this is years ago. It was like one bingo I went like 4x the rate of like an unsired because I was trying to get this fucking sire
Oh
tile. I'm
no.
like I was putting in the hours. I was trying to, and just the luck didn't work out, and then my team
Yeah.
wasn't that great, and it was just embarrassing. And I'm like, yeah, and I wasn't having fun either. It felt
Yeah.
like, yeah,
But yeah, to circle back on '07 Iron, the like right when I joined, they had an event, and it was actually pretty cool. Like it was more of a like, it wasn't a bingo board. It was more of like everybody starts at Barrows, and then
of course.
depending on what like set you finish, like you can continue down like that path.
Hmm.
So it was more like a pathway rather than just like, oh, get every item on this board, which was cool because like it made everybody do the same thing in a way. So it was like, oh, we finished this tile. Everybody, we got to go do wilderness bosses because we need to complete a Void Waker now. So everybody was like, oh, we gotta go, like team up. We get in these teams. You guys go do Callisto. You guys
It's
go
like
do
the amazing
Venenatis.
race in game.
Yeah, it was more like that rather than like, oh, everybody just do whatever the fuck they want, and then when we only have a few tiles left, we'll do those.
I'm like sighing because I'm already getting just stressed out about the whole thing, but that does sound like more interesting at least.
It was more fun. And then it wasn't like you like were grinding the same fucking tile the entire bingo and you just never got the item. It was like,
You
oh,
just move
like
on.
yeah, you just like, oh, a few hours we would get it done and then we would just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's definitely better.
So I found that a lot better.
And it
Yeah.
depends on just like the mood of the clan. I don't have much experience hopping around in clans and seeing the differences. That's kind of what I'm almost like curious. I'm at the point sort of even at like a sort of content creation standpoint. It would be cool to like jump into a bunch of different clans for about a month or two and just kind of get a gist and then even make like a video talking about my experience in clans. Like
Ooh,
I actually think that would be very insightful.
that would be good.
Um, but it's an idea I've had, but again, I'm just not really extremely built for that position to like start raiding clans based on my thing because I'm not really
Hmm.
a big clanner anyway. But
Yeah. But yeah, to like answer Chris's question, I think like we basically came up with activity checks are like way overdone.
hmm
Like I get why they're necessary, but I think they increased the clan cap now to something ridiculous. So you can have a lot of people, um, or at least like forcing people to do something just because it's like a requirement of being in the clan or staying in the clan.
yeah,
And that's actually why solitary fell apart, is because they started introducing like a trial system like Oblivion does.
mm,
Like, oh, we have to go with you to a top and make sure you're good enough to be in our clan.
yeah. That's not for everybody. It's for some
No.
people, but not for
Yeah.
me.
So yeah, they ended up with 5 really good PVMers in their clan before they fell apart.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny.
What else did he ask in that question?
That was pretty much it, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, good clan is just like you can basically go and do something with anyone in that clan and they're not all clicked up. Um, there's some chat interaction. Like if you talk, somebody's gonna respond to you.
hmm
Even if there is radio silence for the most part, like people are still interact with each other, even if it is just like minimal.
Yep.
And then being able to like form a team is so like that's the main reason you should be in a clan, in my opinion. Like if I want to go do next, I need a team. Like I literally can't do next solo.
Yep.
So I want to be able to be like, hey, anybody want to go to next? Like, let's start KCing. Let's get this done. And I need at least like two other people. So if I can get two people in a clan to like go to next with me within like 20 minutes, like that's really good.
Yep. Totally. By the way, speaking of my own, my own experience at Next, I'm so fucking glad I greenlogged that place. It's so nice, just so nice being done with that. Like, don't get me wrong,
Man,
I actually enjoyed Next if I had a good team going. It was fun. It's actually,
I actually really like Next. It's just like the fact that sometimes it would take 2 hours for me to like actually get in the room and start killing it. That was the
yep,
problem.
yep, yep.
And I
Grandmaster
only
make it nice, but then you have to deal with other people not being Grandmaster.
right, yeah. And it was like, okay, you get in a trio, one person dies, and the other person doesn't want a duo, and like, oh, here we are, square one.
Yeah, but
So,
to be fair, the only reason I greenlocked it as early as I did is I got 3 uniques over the week where only MVPs got drops.
oh, I got 0 MVPs during that week.
Yeah, so I didn't know about it either. Like I had absolutely no
Nobody
clue.
knew.
Well,
Nobody
some
knew
some
until,
people knew. Some people knew.
well,
And God, if you had known, dude, go to the masses and just fucking really focus, hyper focus,
dude,
keep summoning
we had
thralls.
we had somebody in our clan, Syndra, who was actually
Yeah,
doing that.
that was
Like,
the person I was thinking of.
yeah,
Like I knew some
he was
people
just
knew.
like ZCB spec the minion right as it comes up, and you're good. Like you get the MVP every time.
Yep.
So it's like, oh. And if you had a main, this was an Ironman that was doing this.
Yep.
If you had a main and you just brought like spec alts in, dude,
You were making bills. Yeah.
imagine every like what hour and a half you would get an item.
Oh yeah. Dude, it was crazy. I mean, I didn't even know about it, and then I realized like I backtracked like my last like 120. I was doing four mans. Four mans.
Uh-huh.
I backtracked the last like 120 kills I did. I got 5 drops in
Oh my
120 kills
god.
in my name. Oh, actually, technically one was a pet. So
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so I got a
4.
pet which wasn't boosted,
Okay.
but like 4 other drops within 120, and I'm like, okay. And nobody else was seeing shit. Nobody really assumed. They just thought I was getting lucky, but like. Good
Yeah.
thing I was fucking, sweating and trying to get that. I wasn't, I always just sweat it next. I try to,
Yeah,
I understand how not to
I
miss
did some next
ticks.
with you, I think.
Yeah, I think we did.
Like early on. Yeah, you'd always be like, "Oh, the threshold's almost there. I'm going to start running towards
Yep.
the minion
I'm
before anyone
that, I'm
else."
that motherfucker. I'm just like
Yeah. Like,
hyper.
oh, I get an extra ZCB hit in before anybody gets here.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, I never ZCB'd the minions. I don't
Oh, it's
actually
so worth
understand
it.
how is it purely just damage based? Is that all that's
Yeah,
going
because
on?
you can hit a 110.
And it's guaranteed. It's not like next where you miss it.
Yeah.
So everything, so they're not like, what am I trying to say? Like balanced differently, where like Nex is worth a higher percentage of damage.
No.
Wow. So it's all just
Yeah.
equal.
Yeah.
What
So
about
if
Blood
you're
Reavers?
like,
Do Blood Reavers count for
no,
anything? That's just
no, they
0.
don't count. Yeah,
Yeah, I
0.
was that motherfucker that hit him once and then just went back to
Yep.
Nex. That's
Yeah.
so funny. I didn't even know these things. I just do it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Dude, Next was so fun when it first came out. Everybody was like, especially the defense thing,
Yeah.
because like only some people knew that it was based on like crush defense. So you'd come in with like Ring of Suffering and nobody could tell you were wearing it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then like half an hour into the session, we'd be like, which motherfucker's wearing a Ring of Suffering? I'm taking too much damage.
Yeah.
And there'd always be like that one guy.
I always loved and one of the annoying things about Nexus, well, it's kind of cool because you do have, at least in the early days when I was doing it with teams, it's like you kind of got to like switch out your gear a little bit. So if somebody's like lesser geared, you can kind of like, switch on your berserker or whatever and just get a little bit of
Yeah.
extra DPS. But then as soon as you're getting just railed, you're like, I'm switching back on the suffering. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Because every time you're getting hit, like you're losing so much more DPS. Just brewing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I think one of the coolest things about Nex was day one in a literal 80-man mass. I pulled
100.
Zarite. Yeah, I mean it probably wasn't fully 100 people. I don't know. Maybe there was like six. It was in between like 60 to 100 people, somewhere in there. But
Yeah.
I remember polling Alright Vams in my name, and I'm like,
Dude.
holy fuck. Yeah, it was
You
like
don't know my do you know my story with those?
no. What happened?
Dude, let me pull up my log real quick. Hmm. So I have 4 Nile horns and 3 sets of full Torva basically and 4,800 shards, and my last item was Zerite Van Braces.
What? What? I
Yeah.
didn't know it. Do you have a hilt
No.
pet?
No.
Damn, rip.
Yeah, 4,800 shards.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Zerite Van Braces in a duo with a friend I was teaching how to do next. I was teaching this guy how to do necks and duos because he didn't want to PVM with anyone else. This is like my IRL friend that I met in college.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he figured out I played RuneScape because he saw like one of my bookmarks was like a clip of Mr. Mammal or something.
That's your bookmark. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I think the bookmark was like me and another streamer cat bombing him or something.
I see. So it's somewhat relevant.
Yeah. It was like, oh, this is a funny clip of me cat bombing Mr. Mammal.
That's funny. It's so rare. There was a couple friends I had in college that played RuneScape, but and even in college, I was pretty newbie. I didn't have an account like I do right now. I didn't have the mindset I did toward this game. But even then, I still felt like the Giga Sweat compared to anybody else that played. I was like, they were just so newbie. It's just like, I'd meet somebody and they're like, "Oh, you play RuneScape? Like, I heard you played RuneScape. Like, dude, let's go like fucking free to play PK or something." I'm like, "What?" Like, nah. And then, and I actually did that occasionally. It was actually pretty fun. I spent like all night. We spent like 3 different weekends pulling all nighters where we just made brand new free to play accounts and just ran out in the wilderness and clanned up with people. I like that that's still an actual thing you can do because that is nostalgic. It's hella nostalgic. Just loading up as this account that just can like cast Fire Strike and then instantly go out in the wilderness and just have some fun.
Yeah. Well, luckily, me and this guy were pretty equal at the time in terms of like how much gear we had. So we actually did end up like doing stuff together, like duo Arma and things like that.
Damn.
So that was pretty cool. It's like
That
just
is
because he saw that one tab on my computer, like we would have never known each other like played RuneScape because you don't want to tell anybody that. No way in
Yeah.
hell
In
is
college,
anybody gonna find out.
bro, I'm not gonna lie. I think I've brought up this once on a cast, but in college, I was so ashamed to like. No, I wasn't ashamed to tell my guy friends. If I was close to a guy friend, it was cool that I played RuneScape because everyone has their like nerdy shit. But if somebody were to have told a girl that I play RuneScape a lot,
Oh, it's over.
oh, I'm like, dude, you're a fucking dick. Like, don't do that. Don't out me like that. But there was one time where I had a buddy and we went over to like this. This is like this girl's apartment that had like 6 chicks in it basically, and we go over there to hang out. And there's like me and 2 other guys, and one of my friends is just like, I don't know what he did, but he's just one of those cocksuckers that will just, make other people feel just kind of like lift himself up. He'll say things, and like it appears as though he's like oblivious, like, oh, I didn't even know you didn't want me to talk about your RuneScape addiction. But he just goes in there and like, yeah, like Sater loves RuneScape. He plays it a lot. And they're like, what's that? He's like, oh, it's just like this video game. Like he's really addicted to it. Like just sitting there. And of course you have to like, you fucking play it off like you're confident about it. And I'm like,
yeah, I am.
And then they're like, what is it? What is it? I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like sitting there like sweating. I'm like, you fucking bastard. Like you would do that. I'm just
Like, how do you explain this to someone who doesn't know?
And the thing is, it's not even that bad, but I put it in my mind because I had just been told my entire life by everybody that video games are just like, you're a nerd, like you're a loser, like you play video games, and especially the word RuneScape, that did not roll off the tongue well. If you said you played Call of Duty, you're cool. If you played anything else, but say
Halo,
RuneScape,
Call of Duty,
say World of Warcraft or RuneScape, you're like, oh Jesus. RuneScape is the worst though. It's so cringe.
By far, RuneScape is the worst. And like, for the longest time, I've been like, don't tell anybody I I play this game, especially to like my wife. Like, don't talk about this. And it's so hard because I stream. Like, it takes up so much of my time on the side. So
Yep.
everybody's like, what do you guys do? And it's just like, well, this loser right here plays RuneScape all day. You know, it's like, no, don't tell anyone.
I'm so fucking grateful that, well, one, I don't really hang out with many people. It's not like I work a job and people are asking me like, oh, what do you do with your hobbies? Like, I'm just fucking camped in my room and this is my job. So I have that going for me where it's like, okay, at this point, I'm okay talking about it. Actually, it's fine, but it's still one of those things where, you know how like if you're talking with somebody and they're just very, very polite, which is a good thing to be, but they're like very curious about things. And just out of politeness, they get really curious at what you've just said. So like, I'll be like, they'll be like, oh, well, like, oh, you're a streamer? Like, oh, that's really cool. Like, what do you play? And I'm like, RuneScape's like, oh, tell me all about it. I'm like, I would rather not.
Honestly. I'd rather not. Yeah.
I'd rather not go down this rabbit hole and just tell you how indeed sweaty I am. And then like, you know, I wouldn't say the amount of hours I put in this account is something necessarily to be proud of. I'm proud of it as a streamer. It's fun. It's fun to like flex that, I guess, but it's purely out of fun. It's not like I'm. Yeah. But yeah, as soon as you start actually engaging with real contributing members to society, start telling people.
Yeah, I just recently got a new job, so I actually just got over the hurdle of like actually telling people I play RuneScape. Which is
was
like,
that? Is there any
it was traumatizing, man. Yeah. So like the first person I told is like one of my friends basically, and he just like actually hooked onto it and was like, oh, no way. Okay, yeah. I used to play Maple Story, and he was like making fun of how he would just sit at his computer all day chopping trees, and I was like, oh, so like I knew like what his perception was of RuneScape, you know. He thinks I'm just like sitting here chopping trees and fishing all day. I say that as I've been sitting here fishing for the last 4 hours. But...
yeah. No, it is funny because like there definitely is this. I mean, that's what my older brother used to think. He would never really watch me play, but he was like, dude, RuneScape doesn't take any skill. It's just you just click a monster and it dies. You click a tree and it chops.
Oh, and he was like explaining combat, dude. He was like, yeah, you just like hit this thing, boom, 0, boom, 0, boom, 0, and then eventually, boom, 1. Oh yeah, I hit something, and I was like, oh god.
Like yeah.
I was just sitting there like traumatized. Like, why did I tell him this?
And you want the conversation to end, so you don't even correct him. You're like, yeah, okay. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I tried to get out of that as quickly as I could, and now I'm just like that guy that plays RuneScape. So, whatever.
But when you meet somebody that understands, which is incredibly rare, you've made a lifelong friend. It's like we're friends.
That is very true. But yeah, so I just got over like my fear, only for my fear to like actually happen. So that was cool.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like nowadays, I mean, I don't know. It's just like so many people play games nowadays. Even boomers and stuff. Like, I mean, I remember my mom and dad would like judge me for like even as a kid. Just I loved video games like from the get go when we got a PS1 and stuff. Like it was just fucking awesome. I mean, then my mom found out Candy Crush and Jesus Christ, like all the amount of judgment that she had like put on me. It wasn't much, to be honest. My mom never really cared that much, but I'm like, Mom, you are sitting in front of the TV watching a show, and now you're just any other time you're just on Candy Crush nonstop.
You're like on level 2000 of Candy Crush. Like
it's like you understand the similarities. Like it's not RuneScape, but it's still a video game. You're just glued to.
Yeah, pretty much everyone at my work games, but it's like one person plays Genshin, and it's more like modern. So it's like, oh, okay.
It's whatever. It is weird. I never really understood why my mind doesn't gravitate as much as like just normality is buying a bunch of like AAA titles and just playing through them, and then having a good time, and then just playing for a few hours at night, and just kind of going through the list of the popular games. I've never really cared about that ever.
We're scapers, man. We're not
I
gamers.
know. What is that? How is it? How do you?
It's it's different. Like it's you don't want to finish something. You want to be always like going for something, but you never really want to finish. Like
Yeah. What is
like
that?
you're if you're enjoying it, you don't want it to end, right?
Yeah.
It's like I think I went through like GTA 5 or something like that, and it was a really fun game. And then I got like to the end, and I was like, oh well, now playing it doesn't feel the same
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not like progressing or anything like that. And even though there's like side stuff you can do, it's like it doesn't feel the same. Like you finish the story, but like in RuneScape, the story just keeps going because there's always updates. There's always something you can do. There's always something you can go for. Like it literally never ends.
Yeah. And the one really beautiful thing is just no microtransactions. At least in Ironman mode, there's absolutely none of it.
Yep.
So you never feel like you're being cheated. Like that was.
Yeah.
I remember I had a friend in college that was really into like Clash of Clans on his phone,
Oh
and that was
yeah.
when it was huge. Like
I used to play
everybody.
that too. Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, he would explain it to me, and he would show me. He's like, "Dude, this is really fun. Like, you got to get into this." And
Yeah. Then you get to
then,
like Town Hall 8 and everything takes a fucking week to upgrade and you're just like, what am I
yeah,
doing?
and then he took out some loans for the next semester for school, and he's
No.
probably spent like $1,200 on some like upgrades for his Clash of Clans. And he had said
No.
beforehand like he was never gonna do anything, but he's like, dude, like I gotta compete, like I gotta
Uh,
compete, and I'm like, that like just it fully taints a game. Like as
yeah. I
soon
mean,
as you can just pay for things, like this was like this game, and again, I didn't really play it, but this game could have been absolutely insane if it just had none of that garbage. If it was
mhm.
all just cosmetics, or something.
Yeah. But yeah, you could like literally go. I remember in that game, you could go and look at the town halls of like the top players, and it would just be like insane, like everything, the top level, crazy layout.
That's
And
nuts.
you'd be like, "Oh my God, I want that." And then, now that we know what's going on, we realize that those people probably spent like tens of thousands of
Yep.
dollars.
Yep. And that's when when you see that visually, you see those how much money must have been spent. Then you're like, oh, this is why in-app purchases are a thing, because
Yeah.
you can just make any game and just cash out
Yeah.
millions and millions and millions of
All the
dollars.
phone games now are just miserable.
Yeah, because
Like
they understand it's just like people will buy it. People love it.
you just get to a paywall and you're done.
Yep.
Like pay $5 every day that you want to play the game or don't play it.
Yeah, it's just not cool. That's why OSRS is. But can you imagine OSRS had this system? Imagine leagues 4 drops, and there's a way to just buy XP and buy relics and buy this stuff.
Yeah.
And so you just check the high
And
scores after day 2. Oh, somebody's 4.6 bill. If somebody has all league points, they just zip through. It's just like, what the fuck?
I mean, honestly, if Bonds never came out and I still had to pay for membership, like through when I was like going through it
Mm-hmm.
financially, like I don't think I would have kept playing. Like I might have stopped at some point just because of the membership.
Yeah, the way they've done microtransactions in this game is the best form. Like I can't think
Yeah,
of a better form.
bonds are great because you can literally play the game for free if you choose,
Yep.
like the full version of the game
Yeah,
with
everything.
no restrictions, no
Yep.
limitations. You can do everything for free.
And the other amazing thing, I was talking about this on the Crumbcast, like he was just talking about like the real benefits of bonds, like why they came out, and he's talking about like this the malicious activity that comes with like gold buying sites and selling. Like a lot of shit can happen that's like negative toward the game. Just accounts getting hacked and accounts getting stolen and people buying and selling accounts and then gold and there's a lot of problems and them like Jagex understanding that that's going to happen regardless, that there's going to be buying and selling gold, they might as well just make a legal way to do it that does not have the negative consequences that are added from unofficial versions of buying and selling gold.
Yep.
So,
And it actually gives them more of a player base because you can literally just buy your way into like at least mid game
mhm.
for not that much money.
And
Maybe like maybe like $20 to $30, and you have a decent chunk of cash.
Yep. And the best thing is it does not affect my favorite mode, Ironman. So it's like
Let's
win,
go.
fucking win.
Except for now, you can buy bonds with Ironman Gold,
Yeah, but that's not,
which is the dumbest thing. Like, has anybody done that, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
Maybe if they don't have an alt, like to drop things over to, I
you're not
guess.
allowed to, do it through Death's Coffer. It has to be like legitimate gold.
Yeah, it has to be like cash.
Oh yeah, because it's at the Grand Exchange, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're literally buying it for your cash.
Yeah, I've well, first of all, I'm in that content creator Discord, so they just give me a year's worth of membership every year on one account. So I haven't had to deal with anything.
Dang.
That's also the benefit of playing one account. There's a lot of creators that still have to pay for stuff because they're only granting it to one of your accounts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just put 20 bonds on a year. And
Yeah,
I'm
that
good.
holiday special or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so good. That's what I used to do.
So it's like what? In today's price, it's like 180 mil for the year, which is not bad at all.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's one dupe.
It's
I mean,
like
it's
one or
literally,
two dupes and you're
yeah,
good. Like I
yeah.
think just in the last week of me doing chambers, I've probably gotten like 130 mil of dupes. So
That's actually crazy to think that
yeah.
you pull like one dupe Tebow, one dupe Scythe, one dupe Shadow. Like, okay, you're good for a decade.
Or
Like,
even if you pull like a few smaller ones, like I got claws, decks, and a couple arcanes, and it's like worth over 100 mil.
yeah, you're good. It is really cool the way you put it. It's like you haven't had to pay a dime to play the full unrestricted game that you've sunk in so goddamn many hours into. It's amazing. Just okay.
Yeah, 528 days.
Yeah. I'm at over 800 at this point. God damn it.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. We're kind of getting to the end of things. Is there anything like in particular you want to talk about? We still have a few things.
I feel like we've like done the complete reverse of like what you normally do in a cast is like you normally talk about real life and then you talk about the game a little bit.
Yeah.
We've like
Yeah.
only talked about the game.
I know we've gone pretty crazy. I always love these casts. I mean, literally last cast I barely talked about the game with Loki. It was just all like
Yeah.
super
I
deep
listened
stuff.
to like half of Frey and half of Loki's casts
Yeah.
just to like kind of get the vibe, you know.
Yeah. I see. I see. The Loki cast probably didn't bring up like the most
Man, that was yeah, that
general
was something
vibe.
else.
Yeah, it was deep. Well, I guess let's talk a little bit about IRL actually. So, what got you into like wanting to be a chiropractor, and how's that like actually been? Like,
That's that's a great question. So, I guess if we go back to the beginning, like in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was involved in sports, but I didn't know what I wanted my career to be, right?
mm-hmm.
So senior year, there was this class called like sports medicine, I guess. There was some other words to it, but it was basically like a sports medicine class. And that's when that's what piqued my interest in like human body, muscular system, skeletal system, like, oh, this is how you get stronger, like this is nutrition, this is, it covered all of that stuff. And it's like the only thing that actually grabbed my interest in high school.
Other
And
than
then,
RuneScape gambling.
yeah,
Kidding.
yeah, I was gonna be a professional blackjack player, but then this class saved me. Um, but from there, on top of experiencing that class and like really liking it, I also got a job at a gym as like a swimming instructor because I was a varsity swimmer in high school.
Mm.
So that's how I kind of got my toes in the water of like that industry, fitness. I eventually like picked up some hours at the front desk. I got really interested in like working out. Um, I was also doing like Herbalife for a while, if you know what that is.
That pyramid
Like
scheme.
the MLM
Yeah,
pyramid scheme,
yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
want to call it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
No,
was doing
no.
that for a
Funny,
while.
just brief tangent on that.
Yeah, of
I,
course.
I
I
s-
figured.
I served a Mormon mission in Texas,
Yeah.
and I was like Spanish speaking, so I just interacted with a bunch of Hispanics.
Mhm.
And first of all, I gotta say that was a very lovely experience. I fucking love Hispanic. And the thing is, Texas is a melting pot, so you get Hispanics from all of South America, you know.
Hmm.
And God damn it, that was such a pleasant time. But yeah, they definitely quite a few of the moms that we'd go visit, you know, people that
Oh
were in the
yeah.
church, and just moms get just hyper sucked into that shit.
Oh
Like
yeah.
just start and the worst, the actually like the thing that made me so sad was going and visiting. There was three separate families that really got hooked into this system, and you could see them investing a ton of money because one of the actually like three separate occasions there was these people that would buy out like these office spaces for their Herbalife company,
Yeah.
and it's just empty. Like we'd go in there, the place looks really crappy. There's nothing really going on, and they just have a bunch of like Herbalife
Yeah.
products sitting there, and I'm like, and then the worst part is that they'd be like, oh my gosh, elders, you know, that's what we were called. And then we'd go in there and they'd be like, we'll give you free Herbalife. And so they're like, we'd walk in there and they would just get, like literally just go
Give
from
you
the
like samples
faucet,
of shit.
go to the faucet. There's no filter or anything, just water from the faucet. It's warm, and then just dump in some powder, stir it up, and just
Yep.
give it to us. And I'm like drinking this. I'm like, this tastes like ass. Like this looks like
Dude,
you are
no.
not selling this properly to me
No.
whatsoever. And that was like the moment when I was like, this whole shit. And then I remember like people telling me more about Herbalife because I was obviously like just focused on my mission, but
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, sorry.
Dude, yeah, I basically told my parents I was gonna get into it, and they like lightly warned me. You know, they're like, well,
Lightly.
they were like, well, I know you shouldn't be doing that, but I'm gonna let you so that you learn, okay? So I ended up doing it just like for a year or something, like,
So
and
funny.
it's like typical MLM, like
Yep.
if you've ever heard of like Cutco, like the knives, like
Yep.
you
My
just
mom
go
actually
door
used
to
to buy
door.
Cutco
Yeah,
knives.
it was like that. You're just like basically just like praying for people to take pity on you for being like this 18-year-old kid trying to sell this crappy protein powder.
Yep.
Um,
Did you ever do essential oils?
no,
Sorry,
no, I wasn't.
just to
I
laugh.
wasn't that
Listen,
it. Yeah,
listen. I want another tangent. I'm just making this all about myself right now. But like
no, you're good.
after my mission, so a lot of Mormons on my mission are from Utah
Mhm.
because that's like the Mormon state, and there is a ton of MLM shit going on in Utah. It's just very popular there, and
Yeah,
dude, I literally had companions on my mission and like a bunch of acquaintances that I met out there that were missionaries that instantly when they got home got sucked into these MLMs, and I'd get calls from them, and like I was like, oh, I'm excited to talk to this friend I haven't talked to in months or potential years.
they'd be like,
And
"Oh,
then
I found this product,
yeah,
and
they instantly are
it,
like, dude, like
it's
you can get into this.
life
Like
changing."
all you have to do is just pay $150 and you're in. Like you're in the system, you know. And then every sale that you get that's under you, you get a profit off it. I'm like, bro, I literally like, what the fuck, like, and they're just like, okay, anyway, nice catching up, see ya. And yeah, the essential oils was absolutely going wild there. But yeah,
Oh,
anyway,
jeez. So yeah, I did that for a while, but yeah, the business part of it wasn't great, but I did learn a lot. So I did get like really interested in nutrition because I had already been doing the gym thing. So there was that, and then nutrition was like the second part of that. So I initially wanted to be like a nutritionist and like teach people like how to actually eat and not like sell these products. So I was going for that, and kind of along the way, like a new degree was announced at the school I was going to, which was like for personal training. So I just ended up switching over to that. I was like, okay, I'll just be a personal trainer. That's fine. That sounds fun. Like I can, help people lose weight in a different way. So I did that. I finished up. I moved to LA, started being a personal trainer. It completely sucked.
really,
Like, yeah. I was
is it
like,
just bad
dude,
clients or something, or just like
no, it's
getting
just
clients or
like,
what?
dude, I could go on like the longest rant
Let's hear
about like what
let's hear a
happened,
brief of this
but
because I actually have no idea what it takes to be a personal trainer. I've never had a
basically you
personal
just
trainer either.
like anybody can be a personal trainer. You just have to pass a test and you
Okay.
get a certificate, right? So like the big commercial gyms, they basically just like pay these 18-year-olds minimum wage, like to come and train in their gym. But they don't really know anything. They just passed a test. So I was like, when they were, promoting this new degree, this career, this personal training certificate thing, like I didn't really have to go through college to get that, but I chose to do that just so like, I was better off. And I had some like college credits, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then like what they basically told me was I'd be making like $30 an hour, and then it ended up being like 10.
Oh
So I was
God.
like, oh God. So I was like working. And then the company I started with, they said, oh, we actually don't need a trainer. We need someone to sell personal training. So here I am, like selling shit again. Like I just got out of the Herbalife stuff, and now I have to go sell personal training now. So
Jesus Christ.
I was actually really good at it. Um,
That's
Luckily, I
awesome.
made that company like $2 million, and then I had
Jesus.
nothing. I had nothing to show for it.
Did you get paid good?
I made like 60 grand as a 20-year-old kid, so it
Okay.
was not bad, but at the same time, like,
But you, if it was your own shit, you would have made so much more.
yeah.
Damn. Okay.
And
Then what
like
happened?
that job just burnt me out because it was literally like 12-hour days. You have to come in at 9, you can't go home till 9 type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to drive all over the place, mandatory meetings and all that bullshit. So eventually I burnt out. There was like a little alcoholic arc somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I was like, crap, this sucks. I need to do something else. So, like, obviously, I'm like, okay, I just got to go back to school and figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So I go into like kinesiology, which is basically like uh, the same thing that I've been doing, but like you actually get a degree for it. And if you don't know what kinesiology is, kind of like what Fo did, Paul,
Yeah. Yeah. He was talking about that on the
like
cast.
the exercise science thing. So I was gonna do that, but I realized that that degree you can't really do much with just that degree. You kind of have to go further, right? So then it became like, okay, I want to be a physical therapist. So I go to pursue like physical therapy. I enroll in like this college. It's like a state college. It's pretty affordable. And then I apply for all these classes. I get put on like these massive waiting lists, and then I realize like since I didn't start going to school here my freshman year, I don't have priority for any of these like junior level classes that everybody's trying to get into.
Mm.
So I'm like always last on the waiting list. I can never get into the classes I need to graduate. So I would literally have had to do like 3 years there just to get like my bachelor's degree. And I had already done 3 years of school. So like 6 years for a kinesiology bachelor's degree, which you can't really do anything with, right?
Mm.
So I was like, okay, well that's not gonna work. And luckily I figured that out really fast. And then as a kid, I had a chiropractor, so I was like, I wonder like what this chiropractic thing is all about. So I look up the school and I'm like, oh my God, like I meet all the requirements to do this. I call them, like they're like, yeah, you're just missing like a few credits. You just need to like do this. And I was already enrolled at this other school, the one with the kinesiology degree. So I just like took that class there to like finish up the credits. I applied, and that's how I got into chiropractic school.
And
But
how long did
basically,
that take to get to where you are now?
oh man. So that was in like 2018, and I graduated in August of last year. So it was like 4 years
Damn. Did you enjoy
of
it? Like, was
chiropractic
it like
school.
decent enough? Did you ever have like a close burnout or something? I feel like doing all that is a lot.
Um, Dude, it was miserable, like being in school.
Yeah. Was it online a lot or just beyond COVID kind of?
Well, once COVID hit, it was,
I
but
see.
it started out all on campus. And basically, you're trying to do like 8 years worth of coursework in 3.5.
God.
So essentially, it's like 20, like 25 to 27 units per trimester. So we would have like 3 trimesters per year with like 2 week gaps in between. So that was pretty, it was a grind, man. So it was like an 8 to 5 job every day going to school. And
Jesus.
then on top of that, you have to study for all the shit that you're learning to take the tests. So it's basically like, okay, I'm going to school 8 to 5, but then I'm coming home and I have to like do, like 4 to 8 hours of like actual studying.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the first year, I'd say, like just getting all that crap crammed into your head so that you could actually understand what was going on later. And then like it started getting better because we actually started like adjusting people. We started learning like, oh, this is like how you're actually going to use this information like when you go out and you start your career. So then COVID happened. And then all the stuff we were doing in person was now like online. So it's like, okay, now we're learning how to do hands-on stuff now in front of our computer.
God, that's just
So
not optimal at all.
that was so tough, dude. So it was like a year of that while they're figuring out what the hell all this COVID stuff is. And then we finally come back in person. And when we came back, it was actually like the term that we start adjusting people's necks.
Oh God, you have like no experience.
So we come back, it's a condensed course because of COVID. So we have to do this in 5 weeks. We have to come every day for 5 weeks to cram in this stuff. So we are literally like cranking on each other's necks 5 days a week for 5 weeks to learn how to do this.
Oh my God. Everything like finished off pretty well though, would you say?
Oh yeah,
Finished last
everything's
year.
really good now. Like the last year is just clinical stuff.
Mm,
You're like just like learning how to be a doctor basically. Like learning how to apply all the knowledge and skills that you learned in school.
yeah. So how's so what are you doing now?
Um like the job I'm doing right now is a little different, but the one I was doing before, I was like basically running this guy's whole practice.
Mm.
So I was like taking in patients, I was doing exams, taking x-rays, like diagnosing people with certain diseases and illnesses, like referring them out where they needed to go, and then the lucky ones got to like get treated. Um,
Where would you where do you see yourself like optimally in like the next few years? Like what's your like goals?
right now it's like the money grind.
Nice.
So
Just
eventually I just want to open my own place because I feel like the last job I had gave me the experience that I needed. Um, my boss basically promised to mentor me and he didn't. So I had to like figure shit out on my own,
that's
which
good
I,
in a way, I
in
guess.
a way, yeah, like, okay, like this is working, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool though. Like that's like
But yeah, I'm actually very fortunate. Like I'm pretty talented at adjusting patients. So that's one thing that people struggle with, especially coming out of school, is like maybe they're not very good at doing that.
yeah, they have
And
the
luckily
knowledge, just not
they
practice.
have the knowledge, they just don't have like that muscle memory, that
Yeah.
speed built in to actually do the treatment part of it. And the adjustment isn't the only thing we do, but it's like the social media flashy thing that everybody knows what we
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Like it's what everybody knows about.
I've seen a lot of really terrible chiropractors on these short videos
Bro,
where just people
it's
like
miserable.
people breaking people's necks and stuff
I
and
just like
backs and just
I
like
just
Jesus.
cringe all the time. Like the Y strap that people are just like yanking across the table.
I
Like,
bet you get so much of that algorithm too. You probably seen it all the
yeah, I see it
time.
all. And I'm like, dude, like no wonder everybody hates us. Like
Oh my God, that's
when
funny.
you're online a lot, it seems like everybody hates chiropractic, but in
Dude, when you're
reality,
online, it seems like the world's gonna burn, and then you
yeah,
actually just fucking take a breath outside, and you're like, okay, everything's
yeah.
fine.
Literally everybody I've talked to in person is like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Yeah, I think it's
Like,
awesome.
yeah.
It's so funny.
But yeah, that's how I became a chiropractor pretty much. I mean, it was basically just like, oh, I hate what I'm doing. I need to find something I actually want to do.
But that's cool that you like really just did it,
Yeah.
It's one thing to like have the desire to, change your course, especially, after your alcoholic stint. Just getting
Oh
I
yeah.
we didn't even talk about that, but like and not like I
Yeah.
really care to, but just it's hard getting out of ruts and stuff.
Yeah.
So Good shit,
And
man.
then while all this was happening, I was like, you know, trying to make things work with my now wife,
Mm-hmm.
and she's from Korea.
Mm.
So we were like long distance for a long time. It was like a year and a half, I'd say, that I was in chiropractic school, like doing all of that, and then still like trying to like keep that together. So during my 2 week breaks, I would actually fly over to Korea to visit her. So that was nice.
Damn. Damn. So, yeah, lots happened. And you still made crazy RS gains through it
Yeah,
all.
somehow I fit like, 500 and something days into an Ironman account.
Yeah, it's funny.
I know Chris Tomp said like top three Korean street food, so
Oh
I
yeah,
guess
let's hear it.
I'll answer that question. So top number one is this thing called hot dog. So it's like
How
if
do
you
you
said
how do you
hot
can
hot,
I want to
you
pull
say
up a
like
picture. I want to pull up a picture. So type it. Like how do you spell it? Okay,
so
explain it.
if you just hear it for the first time, it sounds like hot dog,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
It's like hot dog. So basically, it's this like chewy, like I think it's made with rice, but it's like a chewy dough, and then it's filled with like cinnamon and brown sugar,
Oh, that's so good.
and then they like smash it down and shallow fry it. So
What
it's
does that
like
mean? Shallow fry? Just like a little
just
bit of
like an
oil.
oil,
Just a little
yeah,
bit. Okay.
and it comes out like this chewy, like doughy pancake, and inside is like piping hot sugar, basically.
So it's
And
literally
the
like a filled donut kind of.
Yeah, but it's like different than a donut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not like bread, it's more like a chewy thing.
I see.
So that's like the number one. You can actually buy it frozen in the store, so if you ever see it, grab it. Number two, more people should know about this. I guess it's kimbap.
Oh yeah, that's the shit I order from DoorDash. I feel like.
Yeah.
Can you spell that though? Like, trying to. Oh yeah, okay, you got it. Just making sure I'm not butchering
So
that.
that's basically just like it's almost like sushi, but it doesn't usually have like fish in it.
Mm.
Sometimes they'll put like tuna in it.
This is like I feel like this is always on the sides of like my entrees.
Yeah.
Like if I get like a platter,
It's like street food though.
I see.
Oh, what was the third one? I had this prepared too. Some other things. Oh, the most popular one is called tteokbokki. So that is like a really spicy sauce, and then inside of it is like fish cakes, which is
Yeah.
like a kind of chewy like fish thing. I don't know how to explain it, but also it has rice cakes in it, which are like uh anything that's made with like rice flour is really chewy and dense. So that's pretty good too. Like the sauce is really tasty. It's spicy and sweet.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had these like? I think it's Korean. It's like these like fish dessert. It looks like a fish, but it's made out of like red beets or something. It's like or made out. Oh no, it's made out of red beans. Like I
Yeah,
think it's
red
made out.
beans. Yeah.
What are
Okay,
those? What are those things
that's
called?
also like a popular. That's a popular street food as well. It is called. Uh,
Because
I can't really find like a good
that's fine.
word for it.
I can't remember, but
But yeah, it's like these. Even is that dough? It's like waffle. It's like waffle dough, like filled with sweet red bean
yeah,
paste.
yeah. I
But
had one
yeah,
of
those are really good too.
yeah.
There's also one that comes in like an ice cream version, so it's like vanilla ice cream with that red bean stuff.
That would be good.
It's so good. So that's yeah, those are my top three.
What about American foods? What would you say are like your top three go-tos?
Oh, dude. It's really funny because I eat mostly like Asian food now, so
I mean,
my
that's the way to go.
My American food cravings are pretty strong. So
Oh, really? Okay. So what do you
yeah,
like? What do you like then?
so I think my number one's probably pizza.
Yeah, yeah. What's your toppings? Just like, are you like a pepperoni guy?
I'm like a meat lovers kind of guy.
Okay, okay.
As long as it's not like overdone.
Yeah, you can overdo meat lovers pretty easily.
Just like, I want a little bit of everything. I want to taste a few different meats in there. And then, I mean, I can do like a barbecue chicken type of thing too
Are you wings
for
guy?
pizza.
Oh, we're still talking pizza. I was gonna say.
Pizza, yeah. But wings, I do crave wings every now and then. But I don't know. Everywhere I go pretty much disappoints me, so
Yeah.
it's sad. There was this good wing place by our old house, and it actually switched. It changed owners and like became complete shit. Damn it! Like our one wing place that we know about that's actually good is like now the same as the other ones.
Yeah.
Pizza. I mean, I'm so American, dude. I'm just like pizza, hamburgers, and then I guess pasta's Italian, so I can't really say that.
Almost feels American at this point. Just call it
Yeah,
macaroni and cheese. Just put some other
yeah,
stuff in it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like
So,
any pasta dish, I'm down.
yeah. Very cool. Um. Okay. Zach, this was a fun time. I still have a couple more just things before we end, but for those listening, down in the description, be sure to drop PurpleThorax a follow on his Twitch and sub to his YouTube and his Twitter as well. Also, if you guys want to support the cast, there's also a Patreon and a YouTube membership link. But PurpleThorax, I'm going to ask you now for 3 shout outs from the community that you think are deserving.
Okay, I have 2 right off the bat.
Okay.
So when we were talking about, Ironmen that we like watched grow up since they were babies, and now they're like passing us up. So first one is Joe Watermelon,
Fucking beast mode.
dude.
Dude, him and Scott have just like
And
absolutely
Scott
been
is
booming.
Scott was my second one. Scott VC. So when I first met him, he was like, I just want 1 mega rare, and like he didn't have anything.
He
And
went
now
so dry.
he's stacked now. He just went on such a hot streak. And then Joe, like when I first met him a few years ago, he was like doing like a Tebow rebuild on a main account.
Hmm.
And I think he just got like tired of trying to do that and like started an Ironman out of the blue. So I've just been following him for the last few years, and now he's like he has everything.
I know. The both of them have just gone
They've
and
been like an unstoppable duo.
I know. They
Like,
do all these super efficient raids together nonstop. They never seem to burn out. They just fucking keep going. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, their accounts are stacked.
yeah, like they have pretty much the same account that somebody who started Iron Man when it came out would have.
Yep.
So those are the big 2. My third shout out, I just have to give it to Chris Tomps because he's been there since the beginning. He's my #1 supporter.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good 3
He's the
shout
homie.
outs. Yeah, Chris Thompson's a
Yeah.
good guy. Okay. PurpleThorax. This was a real treat. Over 4 hours, which is
Woo! We
that's
did
not,
it.
yeah, that's not often. This definitely they always fly by. Always like the long ones really seem to fly by. It's just like we get too wrapped up and of course you're as passionate as I am about a lot of these like RuneScape things, so it's just
Yeah.
naturally feed off. But yeah, thank you for coming on today, and thank you all for listening. And it's pretty insane. 150 episodes. You were the 150th.
Woo! Thanks for having me.
Enjoy the rest of your guys' holidays for those listening. And PurpleThorax, thank you once again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace.